because I got my vaccine last Friday.
But you're not out of the woods, Mr. Chairman.
I'm not out of the woods, but I was watching the news clipping on CNN, and they were saying if you've been vaccinated and you are among other persons that have been vaccinated, it is not, you could wear the mask. You could stay away from the mask. That's what I saw.
You misunderstood them, you know.
Well,
Champagne.
no. Well, what I heard about grandma could visit grandchildren.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
You misunderstood CNN.
Oh, what were they saying then?
Vaccination meant both courses with the AstraZeneca, which we have in St. Lucia.
Uh-huh.
You have to take both, my brother. Both.
Oh, well, boy,
when
that's
you
not
have
what I
only
heard.
one, I have had one. You see, I'm still wearing my mask, but you and Mr. Sir Michael are stronger than I am. So you also do
How
it
you
on
know-
a mask.
How would you know that?
I know, you're the two young, strong fellas.
Anyway, I have been wearing my mask. Listen, in the outside, out there, I wear my mask all the time. I just figured today, we're not out of the woods, but I figured today I should stay away from my mask. How was the setup? I went up there last Friday at Gozile, and I was really, really amazed with the organization of everything. Everything was well put together. There were 2 lines. There was a line for the senior citizens, persons at the ages of 60.
At the Darren Sammy Stadium yesterday?
No. That was last Friday at the
Resource.
Human Resource Center in Gosling. Beautiful
Yesterday
facility.
was
Beautiful
better.
facility.
Beautiful facility, well put together, well nice. And then there was another line, and I saw hundreds of people up there. Hundreds of people. And I rang the bell here for the organization of the way
Champagne.
everything went on.
Yes,
When you
Yesterday, I
say
heard it was
another
even
line
better
had hundreds,
yesterday.
what do you mean?
Well, there were 2 lines. There was one line for the elderly people,
Senior citizens.
senior citizens, and there was another line for just
The younger,
It was well organized.
well organized.
Now, you see, that's the
well
difference.
organized.
Now, that's what they tell you in life. There are always 3 sides to a story.
Mm-hmm.
His, hers, and the truth. Now, I heard you say that, and I have some other friends of mine went there, and they said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yet, 1 or 2 other people went and said, oh, chaos, nobody knows what they're doing.
Oh, my
This
goodness.
is so unfair, you know.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
anyway, Champagne.
No, you see, our people need to be realistic sometimes. When we got there was the police officer, and I must say the security aspect of everything was perfect.
Let me tell you
Perfect.
something. You see what you're telling me? I was in the south of the island. I spoke to 5 different people who went to Mico, went to the Philip Marston grounds, who went I think the Denry. All of them said the same thing, well organized.
Well organized.
Yeah. And
Compliant.
it's time we have to give credit where it's due. Yeah. And these nurses are exceptional.
Oh, my goodness. They were
As a
great.
matter of
They were
fact,
great.
I called Nurse Morgan
Right.
concerning you and told her what you thought of her. And I just got a WhatsApp from her thanking me. And you have to do those things because
Yeah.
these people have done very well.
Oh, yeah. And there were tents with sitting capacity for the elderly, those that could not stand for too long.
Yeah.
Everything, because this is what I did. When I go out there, I observe things, and it was very good. You were saying something about the Darren Sammy.
Yesterday, a friend of mine, senior, was at the Darren Sammy Stadium. And he said to me, this was perfect. I had to wait a little while. I got through okay. But guess what? They were even serving people water.
Wow.
The
Oh, my
sitting was
goodness.
staying, and
We
there
need to
were,
ring
again,
bell
there
on
were
that.
2 sections. One for the 65s and over, one for the lower
Yes, the ordinary age group.
age group, okay? And it was perfect. No complaints as far as my senior friend was concerned.
Yeah.
So the people, if the first 1 or 2 trials and thing didn't go exactly as speedily as planned, people are putting too much pressure on our workers who have been doing this health thing, and we, the public, we St. Lucians, and I hate to say that because I had to be born somewhere, we are putting even more pressure on the medical profession by our behavior.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
But all of us, when we reach when some of them, not all of us, when some of them reach the respiratory hospital, they're asking the doctors if they die.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Asking the
Well,
doctors.
I know the 3 of us here,
The
and I will
doctors
ring the
should
bell for the professionals from the inception of the coronavirus, the way that
They have handled it.
everyone handled it. And
Wonderful.
now with the vaccination, the way it has been administered, in my view, it has been done well, properly, well organized. That is in my
But
view.
let me say, the
Let
last
me say, Champagne, to you.
Yeah.
If it's one ministry that I can put my neck on the block now for, would be the Ministry of
Yes,
Health.
oh yes,
Because
definitely.
not only from my actual personal and meetings with the people, yours, Mr. Josie, and several other people, right, who all said they had no reason to make those comments.
No.
So we really want to say a big thank you
Oh,
to the
of
ministry.
course.
Thank them for all what they have done.
Oh, yeah.
And how much we respect them.
And let me just say the last thing very quickly on that, Champagne. And that is, one of our realities is you don't expect people who have never been praised, or congratulated on anything that they have done, any positive thing. You don't expect them to know how to praise, and
Yeah.
that is our problem. Our people, some of us grow up without getting a nice hug, a nice kiss. You're a good child, you're a nice child, keep it up. Some people never get that in their lives. So all they have gotten is negative, negative, negative.
Yeah.
So what do you expect from them?
But Peter, when I was growing up, and I know that happened to all of us here, when we were growing up as a kid, even if your neighbor gave you a mango that fell off the tree, you said thank you.
Yeah.
Your parents would say, Udi misia Messi?
Yeah.
Did you say thank you? We have lost this.
And good morning and good afternoon and good night.
We
and
have
thank you,
lost
yeah.
this. Your own kids,
Yeah.
you hand them things and they don't say thank you.
Yeah, but you have to make them
You
say
now,
that.
don't listen to me, Brother Peter. You tell them every time someone offers you something, you say thank you. You say excuse me. What has happened to this society? I don't know what is going on in this country.
I'll tell you, Champagne, this world has been moving at a pace
Oh yeah,
where people, when you're doing things in a hurriedly, you tend to forget things. We were moving at such a pace in life. We became so intolerant with each other. And actually, somebody was talking about that yesterday. And not that I agree with what the person said. They said, look at me. The pandemic has sent a message. You all will not slow down. I will slow you down.
yes, I said that.
Yeah.
I said that. There's some changes in life that we didn't want to.
Yeah.
We were forced to
It
change.
forces you.
Yeah.
Stay home now
Yeah.
and think. When you're there and you cannot. I mean, people were not thinking before. They were just, you get
Even
up in
as
the
they
morning,
please.
you're on the phone, you're catching a plane, I'm rushing to London, I'm coming there, I'm going there. And that's what's been going on, Now, just to mention to you, Champagne, halfway through our show today,
Yeah.
I want you to take a pause because I've spoken to your technician.
Yes.
All the photographs, which were well calibrated last week, I know it went out in sections. So I would like it to stop and take a little 5-minute break
Okay.
and to air it to the public because I think, again, getting that message out in a realistic fashion is extremely important.
Yeah, all
I
right.
have some more photos which I've added, I have sent to him, which we will show at the end of our show.
Okay.
I hope my technician is listening.
Okay, beautiful. So, St. Lucia, the topic of the day, and to all of us, we have here on the front page, and I need to ring the bell for the Voice newspaper for the second week for bringing us the events of the day in a positive way. It says here, Police Commissioner Daisy, no tolerance for lawlessness in St. Lucia. There it is. And you could pick up a copy of the newspaper. It is really thin these days, Brother Peter. The papers used to be very thick. Maybe there's not enough news happening.
Well, it's a midweek
That's
paper.
Yeah, it's a very well, I know. So this is what it says, Police Commissioner Daisy, no tolerance for lawlessness in St. Lucia. And
Mr. Champagne, I want to say something. You see what you've just done?
Yeah.
That is something you need to copy. Because I watch the television programs in the UK every morning.
Yeah.
And they all read the headlines in
Oh,
the
yeah.
papers.
Oh, yeah.
So it's only twice a week we come
come,
there.
yeah.
And I'm suggesting that we do that because, number one, it lets people know that the Voice paper is still around.
Yes.
It's a newspaper which we have to respect. It's
been
over
there a
100
long
years
time,
old.
yeah.
Under difficult times, they are doing a good job. And I'm so happy about the directors of the Voice for keeping the paper alive.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would be sad if we lost the Voice paper.
And they have been struggling a little bit because our young people don't read as they should
Correct, yeah.
in terms of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe I should talk to the director there, and I know him personally. Maybe you should put something that is enticing to the young people so they could pick it up. You have a centerfold. You remember Corky and Stocky at the Crusader?
Yeah,
They used
I
to
heard
have
you talking about it, yes.
So people would get
Yeah.
something to read to entertain them in a little bit.
It's a good idea, Champagne,
So-
but I'll say you're sort
Yeah.
of fighting a losing battle.
A losing
because
battle.
Again, because you know something? With that thing today,
Oh, yeah.
that is the killer.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Oh,
they
yeah.
don't even want to talk to you. You have children and they
And
get
they're on
into
the
a
phone.
room and they're on that.
They're on the phone.
And sometimes, I had one of my business partners 7-8 years ago who was very technical, even before I was involved in this thing. And he was visiting me in St. Lucia, and he spent 3/4 of his time on that. But he was just slightly younger than I was, so I felt I was out of place to talk to the gentleman.
Yeah, right.
But eventually, about a year or two later, I said to him, you know something? To keep away the name, I'll use the name Joe. I said, Joe, let me say something to you. I'm not very happy because you're being very unsociable. Because we're sitting and talking and you meditate. And you know what he said to me? Michael, why did you tell me so 2 years ago? I needed somebody to say that to me. Wow. This is a man today in his 70s, okay? But let's go on.
Yeah. So we want to start here with this situation down in Soufriere. So you seen the video?
Yeah, I saw
regarding what transpired there on
I'll tell you
Sunday.
Something, Champagne, the longest rope has an end. These people have pushed the law and pushed the law and pushed the law. And I think Mr. Daisy is not going to accept any of that nonsense anymore. And it's high time that, because that Barron's Drive seems to be a law to themselves. They can do what they want.
Yeah.
Our domain.
Yeah.
That is nonsense. This cannot be allowed to happen. You see what's happening in America today with the white supremacists? Same nonsense. You see, they allowed it to grow and grow and grow. Look at what, it's threatening the number one nation in the world, America today. They can't even hold a meeting. Yeah, you have to put out thousands of guards. This cannot go on. Yeah.
And this area I know very, very well.
Yeah.
The Soufriere village or the Soufriere town is circulated with beautiful resorts, nice hotels. The Anshashna, you have the Jade Mountain, you have a various amount of nice, beautiful guest houses, nice villas, and you have the Sugar Beach, Ladera, and all those. So the tourists not every time would want to stay at the resorts. They would like to come down into the village or into the town, mingle a little bit with the locals, and experience.
That's the whole idea.
But when you have this kind of behavior,
unacceptable.
The tourists will not come down there. They will not come down there. Now, people may say, well, Champagne, it's everything about it is tourists. Yes, everything is about it, tourists, because this is our main economy. This is our main economy. Right. And for police now to be challenged by residents, this has never happened in St. Lucia. Yeah. So openly. I mean, I know of a few occasions where people approach police officers, maybe fire at them. I remember one police officer being shot on the waterfront. But Brother Josie, where is that boldness coming from our people in retaliation to the police?
Champagne, our St. Lucian people, especially the younger, slightly younger generation, are very good followers. There are very few leaders there, very good followers. And only last night, was it last night or the night before for the latest, I was watching the member for Castries South on television, again hitting at tourism, putting in the minds of the people who support him and his party that the tourists are the ones bringing in the coronavirus in St. Lucia, which is a lot of baloney, which is a lie. And we know where the spike came from. It was from the Labour Party march in early October last year. But guess what? I was, in a way, happy about the incident in Soufriere. You know why?
Happy, you say?
Happy. I know what I'm saying. Happy. Because I think it was a wake-up call for Milton Daisy, whom I respect and admire from the time he was a traffic officer.
Yeah, I remember him.
I remember I had a little incident and for wrongful parking, and I explained to him why, at the time, I had an issue with my right knee. And I had to, kind of spare that knee. He understood, and he said, well, Mr. Josie, you know what you should do? Get a paper from your doctor, which I did. And I still carry my vehicle up to now, although I don't really need it as such.
Yeah.
So I was happy in a way because it was a wake-up call for him. And the reason I say that is because his very first statement to the nation as the chief cop, I thought was a little weak. You see the statement he made after the incident in Soufriere?
Yeah.
That would have been my opening statement as the Commissioner of Police. That, listen, guys, I have been around. I have sympathy for the former commissioner, Mr. Monchery. But now that I'm in that seat now, today, I want to send a warning to all the criminals and lawbreakers from top to bottom, white collar, yellow collar, red collar, I don't care what kind of work you do. As the police commissioner of St. Lucia today, my men and I will not tolerate any slackness anymore. And anybody who attacks my men first will get 10 times the pressure coming back at them. That is the statement I wanted to hear. So that is why I say, in a way, it is a blessing that this thing happened in Soufriere, because it quickly put Mr. Daisy, Commissioner Daisy, on the right track as far as I'm concerned. When you have a little 2x4 country like St. Lucia, and you allow people who are working outside the law to break the law with impunity, what are you doing? And the only people, the arm of the law, give the police the things that they want. The vehicles, organize it in such a way that they always have a presence of police, especially on the roads. You know, I remember Martin Carrasco, deceased, may he rest in peace, said to me years ago, Peter, we need to boost up the police. You know what we need now? To get vehicles, and the people communications is a modern thing now, and have strategic places where the vehicles are parked with 2 or 3 policemen watching, communicating with the others. A guy passes at 100 miles per hour, you don't go and follow him like a madman. You radio to the guy on top in the direction in which he's going and say, listen, a white so-and-so is coming towards you. Stop him. Because this guy just flew past us. Stop him and find out what his problem is. And so we have to devise ways to police ourselves better.
I agree.
Yeah, it is important.
I agree.
Because if not, what is Sir Michael just said, is going to happen everywhere in the country. Very soon.
You know, before we go to your preamble, Sir Michael, I have some people that called in all week, and we were talking about this thing. We were talking about it, and they were saying whether the police acted in the appropriate manner. And that is, persons were saying that the police should go in there because they were attacked, that they should have fired rubber bullets and all this thing. What's your views on that?
No. They did the correct thing.
Yeah, I believe
Back
that.
off
And
do it in a civilized manner. You see that simple statement Commissioner Daisy made there? Telling them there at 11 o'clock tomorrow.
12,
report. They came, eh? I hear they came.
They came.
So what did you hear? Have they been charged or what?
Well, we have a program tomorrow with the police, and they will give us the full details.
Okay.
But I heard that there were 11 people that came in.
So I heard.
They
were the ringleaders.
Yeah, the ringleaders.
Yeah.
And you know
but
why
I'm also hearing that the lady had no license. Huh?
The shop owner had no license. That's what I'm hearing as well.
Without cutting you short, Peter, and that's what I said last time.
You said that the last time.
Of the 3,500, the majority aren't licensed.
Yeah.
And I want to say to St. Lucia one more time, there is a law which we need to follow. As I said, my dad used to be in charge of the customs when I was a young man, and I distinctly, and I don't think the law has changed since then, when you have a bar, I know it's probably a little more difficult there because of lack of manpower, but at least once a month, the customs need to go in and check their logbook. They have to keep a logbook and register what you're selling, where you bought it from, and that's another way of controlling theft, because a lot of people steal alcohol, smuggle alcohol, and bring it to those rum shops, and that has to be. But I'll let you and Peter go ahead. I want to say something to you about a particular motorcycle in a while, but you go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, thanks.
I was saying, I'm happy the way the commissioner handled it, quite frankly. The rubber bullet would not have made sense. You know what made sense, and I respect that so much? Champagne, the way people speak, says so much about them. Not about the English language. I'm not talking about that, or Creole, or whatever language, Spanish, whatever. The underlying seriousness, and you don't have to shout, you know, with which the commissioner said so. I knew that these people would go. You know why?
Yeah.
I always maintain Champagne. St. Lucians are not stupid. They can play stupid, but the average St. Lucian is not stupid. When you speak to them and they understand the underlying thing that will happen to them if they don't show up, I knew they would come.
Yeah.
I knew they would come. I just had in mind that they would come because the tone with which they come. You come to the station by 12 tomorrow.
Yes.
We'll find you if you don't come.
Yeah, the tone was not aggressive, but it was serious.
But if you allow us to come and meet you, that is the unspoken word. And the smart people understand the words that are not spoken.
Yes.
If you allow us to come and get you,
that's right.
That's another story.
That will be another story.
Yeah.
And they understood that.
They understood that.
Clearly.
Yeah, very clear. The tone was not aggressive,
don't
but it was serious.
underestimate the people of St. Lucia when it comes to that. That is why I say all the time that they are smart, they understand. But if you give them a mile, they will take 2 miles. If you allow them, if you allow them, they'll take 3.
You know, I'll tell you something to you, Mr. Champagne. Like myself, you travel to the south of the island regularly, okay? I don't want to overload the commissioner with all the ills that have gone on in the past. But the serious ones need to be addressed. I stood up Champagne at the entrance of the Huronora Airport on Sunday at exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. Myself and my friend watched. 3 guys must have been moving at 100 miles an hour or more.
Wow.
When I tell you, these motorcycles were squeaking going on. 2 police officers had just left Huronora Airport. I thought maybe they were dedicated to escorting a van from to wherever,
from the
hotel,
airport.
you know?
Yes.
And they stood up and they watched this thing. Now, as Peter says, I don't expect those traffic officers to catch
chase.
up with those
No,
guys.
no.
They could not have caught up with them. Because what I noted, while the police officers were at the junction, before they could look left and look right, there were fellows who were already
They were
by,
gone.
what's that fellow's place, who broke down that old place? He was a politician before, Cass Elias.
Oh, wow.
You know where Cass had that
Yes, with that, yeah, in the
restaurant?
corner,
By
yes.
the reef, look it.
Yes.
Before the officers could catch their breath, the fellows were already by the reef.
At 100 miles an hour, you would be down there.
I am proposing,
Wow.
if any of the police or traffic department are listening to this show today, I'm suggesting that a traffic officer, one stands there and another by the reef for an hour or half an hour, anytime between 1 and 3 o'clock.
On a Sunday.
And guaranteed,
Yeah.
guaranteed, they can pick up. It doesn't. You don't have to arrest all 100 of them. You know, you pick up 2, and you'll be sending a strong message, just like what the police, the commissioner just did. Champagne.
So, Michael,
What is going on? It's worse and worse, getting worse by the minute.
well, you have seen it every other Sunday, maybe when you go down
Every
there.
Sunday I go
But
down.
I work down there, and I'm telling you what these guys do.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of these guys on a Saturday and on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And there's some that would ride moderately, they would ride in along a flow with the traffic, but there's some,
Yeah.
like you said, 100 miles an hour, you just go by you and you just see the back
Where
of
are
the
these
bike in a
guys from?
second.
Where are these guys from?
That's
All
St.
about the
Lucians,
place, Peter.
Our
And you
local,
know,
local guys.
I have to. I've said it before. I'm going to have to say it again. What these people don't understand, it's a cost to the taxpayer. Because for sure, Champagne, they will every week at least one gets damaged. At least,
Yeah.
okay. They have to go to the OKEU. The poor nurses have to, under stress, have to take care of them. We have to spend money to take care of them. Then many of them have become cuckoo, and somebody has to feed them. So, you know,
I'm laughing
for their
because of
own
what you
good,
said, they become
something
cuckoo.
has to be done. And I mean, we keep saying that here all the time, and I know the police can only do so much, but this, in my view, is a priority.
But what do you think would be a solution, Sir Michael?
Peter, they have to make an example. I'm saying 2 things. The location I said to you is one of the locations. There are 3 locations where they do that nonsense. One is around here, between Savans and Dennery.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you for a fact, we have a small chalet at Savans, and on a Sunday between 12 and 4, it's impossible to sit in the veranda.
Wow.
It's impossible. As a matter of fact, there's an English guy who stays close to me, been here 18 years. They're now selling their house because of the noise. They said they can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot of noise, I tell you, on a Sunday.
And another thing which has to be addressed, they need to do like they did in China. Once they take off the silencers on those things, these motorcycles should be confiscated and charged. You cannot allow people to do this nonsense. This is not acceptable. People talk about, there are 2 things in life. I remember when I was in the shipping business, one of my captains was a chain smoker. And I said to him, look at me, you're poisoning me. He said to me, it's his right to smoke. I said, it is your right to smoke, but it's not your right to poison me.
That's true.
Because secondhand smoking is just as bad.
just as
you know?
bad.
And look at it today. How many smokers suffer from emphysema, cancer,
Yeah.
lung problems,
Yes.
all kind of nonsense.
Yes,
Okay,
COPD
you're
and
actually
everything else.
poisoning yourself,
Yeah.
all because you have a bad habit. Your bad habits should be kept for your home and your privacy,
Yeah.
not in public. That's why in the UK now you cannot smoke in a pub.
Yeah.
You cannot
You
smoke.
have to get out.
Yeah, because it has been proven. Sorry.
Before you go to your preamble, we want to go to Mr. Peter because of just that same subject. The bikers will say to you, Brother Peter, that it is their rights as St. Lucians to ride throughout their country. What do you say on that?
Yeah, but nobody is saying they shouldn't ride, you know. Nothing Sir Michael said there says that they shouldn't ride. But the noise pollution and affecting people's eardrums, that is the question. We all have rights, but my right does not give me, the freedom of speech, for example, is a right, that does give me the right to come here and say whatever I want, call anybody's name.
Any name, yes.
And even when I believe strongly that what I'm saying is true, I don't have a right to come here without giving the person an opportunity to say that's not true. I can't do that. I have no right. I can't take a motorcycle, remove its silencer, or a motor car for that matter, and drive around the place like a crazy person,
Yeah.
endangering other people's lives. That is a right that is being abused.
I believe that.
And your rights should never be abused. We all should exercise our rights with wisdom, understanding, and with fair play.
Yeah.
That is the thing. We have to be sensible about what we say, oh, I have a right. Of course you have a right, but guess what? The most important thing about rights is responsibility. With rights comes responsibility. With rights come, I should say, responsibility.
Peter is so right. Let me tell you what I saw this morning
Very right.
on the news. I'm sure you've been following the little fracas that's going on between Prince Harry,
Oh, yeah.
his
and-
wife,
Yeah.
and Buckingham Palace. You may not remember, Peter, but there's a gentleman called Piers Morgan who
Yeah,
comes
I
on.
remember.
Oh, yes,
for a long
I
time.
know him.
You,
yeah.
you saw,
I
did
saw
you
him
see
walk,
what
he walked away from the set yesterday.
You heard what happened?
Oh,
yes?
yeah.
What, do you know why?
He walked
Because
away because he was...
He made a comment
Yeah.
which was not in keeping with his radio station. Just
Right.
imagine that.
Yeah.
Made a statement not in keeping there, and his years, he had to, he resigned.
Well,
he
he
knew very
resigned,
well,
yes,
okay?
he
Because he
resigned.
realized what he had done.
Yeah.
That's how careful people must be.
Yeah.
So can you be, when you're demanding that amount of attention to a radio station, what we as supposed radio stations doing then, the kind of propaganda they put out, the insults without checking anything, right? Hopefully, as time goes on, as a civilized country, we're going to start to address those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, again, we're talking about rights.
Yeah.
Mr. Morgan's right to broadcast and to work professionally
Yeah.
did not give him a right to say. That is the point.
Correct.
So with rights, the most important thing I've learned about rights is responsibility. The two go hand in hand.
Yeah, you're
Correct.
right on what you just
The
said.
2 hours,
Very.
rights and responsibilities.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so Michael, so we'll come back to the discussion. You have your preamble, so maybe you could go through it.
Today, my preamble is it's getting shorter and shorter,
Yeah, yeah.
but we can
I
discuss
realize
it,
that's
okay?
all right.
Yeah. The opposition has consistently disseminated misinformation for the past 4 years. And despite having been found guilty, they have persisted, resulting in a non-win situation for their own party. We make these comments today based on the following facts. Their consistent accusation that the monies remitted for COVID-19 related matters consist of distributing cash to the vulnerable is false. In the Voice of Saturday, March 6, government clearly highlighted the thousands of dollars pumped into the Ministry of Health to upgrade and speed up COVID-19 tests. Today, some 1,200 tests can be carried out on a daily basis, and the results are completed in 24 hours. Prior to the investment, these tests were sent to Trinidad with extended delaying results. The SLP complained about the delays, and today, the Ezra Long Lab is now in a position to enhance these services. In addition, and this is one of the reasons why we see more and more cases coming up, because they are testing a hell of a lot more and
there's
getting
a
the
backup,
results
yeah.
quicker. Okay? Right. In addition to this service, the chemicals required to perform these tests have increased 1,000-fold. This enhanced service comes at an additional cost, and this is only one of the areas where the funding has been directed to. Last week, we addressed the alcohol consumption concerns vis-à-vis, where enormous sums of money were spent at the bars on a daily basis. I raised that point because they talk about people are starving, they have no money. But what I'm saying, Franchi, if you have no money, where is the money coming from?
To get the
More
alcohol.
and more people are opening bars.
Yeah.
If they didn't have customers, they could not survive.
No.
Okay? That's not all, Champagne. I will show photos to prove what I'm telling you now. We have discovered yet another area where millions of dollars are disbursed every 6 weeks. Millions! And that is on the importation of used vehicles. The photos attached in my, after my preamble will support our contribution of the number of vehicles which arrived some 4 days ago. Yet we are told people are starving due to lack of funds. Now, I'm asking you something. A bank is lending some of the money, okay? The same money you're borrowing from the bank to buy a car that you can probably ill afford to keep, why not take that money and start a small business, or for that matter, put it aside to be able to increase your diet? Because the car only takes money, because from the day that car hits the road, you have to pay insurance, you have to pay licenses, you have to buy tires, you have to pay petrol. It's a cost, okay? I'm not saying people shouldn't buy a car, but what I'm trying to say, have you seen Champagne, how many cars come in every 6 weeks?
All the time.
I took photos of it, okay? Every 6 weeks. Over the weekend, we took photos of the new fixed-based operator, which is the FBO. You know all that about Champagne, the FBO.
Yes, in Newport, yeah.
Okay. How many, I guarantee you that 99% of St. Lucians are not aware of that.
Oh,
okay?
they don't. They don't.
Over the weekend, we took photos of the new fixed base of FBO completed at the Honora to facilitate the influx of private aircrafts entering St. Lucia, including a number of private jets destined for the Grenadines, which use this facility as a preferred choice of convenience. For those of us, in many St. Lucians who don't drive around, but go down on a weekend or midweek and see the number of private jets parked at the airport, okay, that use that facility, people wanting to go to the Grenadines. And it is very costly to enter the FBO. So
maybe you should tell them, Sir Michael, I don't want to disturb you so much about what the FBO entails, because this is about private jets, because a lot of people, like you said, maybe 99% of people don't know what it is.
Correct.
And it is a building that has been constructed. It has a customs department in there, well, a customs area.
Yeah.
It has an immigration area, so those rich people that comes in on their private jets, they go through that facility to enter the country.
Yeah. People who pay for that special service. And mind you, Champagne, prior to that, St. Lucia was the only island that didn't have one. Grenada that came in afterwards, the first thing they did when Sandals went in there was they built an FBO.
Wow.
Okay?
Oh, Sandals built it?
No,
the
they built it first
did.
as a result. Okay?
All right.
And these people, wealthy people who come in, pay 3-4 times the amount of money to use that facility instead of going to another place where, there's country. It's, in other words, it's a revenue creator. It's a revenue creator, okay?
And let St. Lucia know that the one that was constructed down in before, I think it is private ownership, right?
No, the government owns it.
The government owns it.
Government charged it, yeah.
The government built it, but
government
rented
built
it,
and you pay
is listed
handsomely.
out. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
I was
It's
saying
a few
different.
$1,000s, like $2,000-$3,000. Don't hold me to it. When a plane comes in, just to use that thing.
Yes,
Whether it's
yes.
one person, two persons, okay? But it's a facility because the private aircraft jets, the private jets, that's an industry.
Oh, yeah.
That is an industry.
I was saying different. I thought the private company built the facility.
No. Government own it, okay?
Okay.
And, right. So, we talk about that, and then I spoke about that. We took several photos of the preliminary areas already excavated and mapped out for the flyover bridge at Cul-de-sac.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped there, I took some pictures where they are digging all on both sides of
Yeah,
the river
I saw that.
so they can plant their pillars to receive the new bridge.
I
which
like
is-
the name you give it, the flyover bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed, that's what it's going to be, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
and
flyover.
yeah, because what happens, it
Yeah.
comes above the river.
The river, yeah.
And above it a bit, and then it descends into the highway.
Right.
Have you seen what they have done on the highway?
I've been there,
Yeah, they
I
have
saw.
cut the
They
highway into
changed
two.
it.
They created a new highway
they pushed
already.
it on the
and they
side,
took
yeah.
half of the old highway where so they can go ahead with their works.
Yeah, it looks a little confusing for those who
Don't
doesn't
know.
go
yeah.
down there so
But
much.
also, I think technician has a picture, the rendering,
Yeah,
which I think he should highlight today again to show the massive roundabout.
yes.
The new roundabout will encompass one, people coming down from the Morn
Yeah,
to want to go to Vieux-Fort or to go. That's number one. Number two, people coming from the Millennium Highway. Number three, people coming from, say, from Soufrière, okay? They have to either go and exit where they want. Yeah.
Okay.
And what's good about it is that now that the KFC has opened up yesterday,
oh, they open up?
yeah, they opened up yesterday. Incredible.
My goodness.
Now, what's going to happen? It will create a lot of traffic. So the one good thing about that, it will be away from the corner, so you wouldn't have any congestion. So that would help a lot.
So the existing corner, the one that's there now, the
Yes.
current corner,
Yeah.
is not going to be,
no,
there's no more.
It's going to be. They're bringing the roundabout, I think, closer to the. You see, you know where the KFC is?
I know, yeah.
Right,
Right in
right
the-
opposite KFC where they had some containers.
Okay.
Yeah, all that will be taken in. You have a massive roundabout because remember, you're talking about a lot of traffic.
A lot,
Shanti.
yeah, yeah.
You're talking traffic from Soufrière, traffic from Vieux-Fort,
Yeah.
traffic from Castries,
That's right.
traffic from the Morne.
That's
That's a
right.
lot of traffic.
Yes, yes,
so
it
it's a
is.
massive roundabout,
It is, yeah,
massive.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So
I think I've seen some big ones like that in England.
correct.
And
yeah.
some huge ones.
Yeah, this is going to be massive,
Yeah,
okay?
okay.
Massive. Because don't forget what John Compton said, that Cul-de-sac, he predicted, we could be new the development, and he is right.
Yeah, he is.
Because
Yeah.
you have all that flat land
was right.
down in Cul-de-sac, you're going to see a lot of business going into Cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
I'm telling you so.
And I said that sometime, like, I think it was week before, I said to the Honorable Guy Joseph, I said, Castries Southeast, meaning cul-de-sac and the other areas, will be taking over Castries in terms of commercial
Definitely.
and residential.
You
I
know,
said that 2
Yeah,
weeks
that
ago.
happened in Martinique too,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, and so the KFC place has gone in, and my final stop was at the St. Jude Hospital, where the progress continues at a steady pace. I've just given the technician some new photos,
Yeah.
and I just spoke to the architect this morning, and he sent me some new photos and said to me, by Monday, this Monday coming, the progress down there will be incredible. So I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
So this is about it for my
Yeah.
preamble.
All right. Over to you, Brother Josie. You don't have a preamble, but I know you have something to say.
Yeah, but it's interesting. For me, you know what has struck me here, and especially this morning, the kind of passion with which Sir Michael
Oh, yeah.
describes this project.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah.
You could
Oh, yeah.
feel it all in his
Oh, yeah.
muscles,
Oh,
all
yeah.
in his
And-
body.
and very well.
you know.
And he should, and you and I and everybody else.
Yeah, and because it kind of confirms something I wanted to say. Not I wanted to, something I will say.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, when we're talking about economic development or the economics of development of a country like St. Lucia, I would expect us to have a more up kind of intellectual discussion that is spoken in such a way that the average man on the street would understand. And I said so this morning to Norbert because of a statement he made about a certain guy who was talking about the transit drivers and things so. And I know that this guy whose name he called is a trained economist. And people like that, I believe, can raise the level of discussion on the whole approach to economic development and what are the factors you need. You know, Sir Arthur Lewis focused on labor, which was in plentiful supply in the old days, right? And when he studied the Far East and looked at this, he developed his theory of economic development based on what people could do with labor. Okay, land came into play. In St. Lucia, we have had excess labor sometimes, even now. We don't have a lot of land. And the theory is that agriculture would have been a preferable choice of development because people have to eat. This is the kind of discussion when people in the opposition or even in the government speak about we should develop agriculture. Explain to people why it is. It's not only because of food, because you have to use labor, which agriculture has needs, to produce food, and that as a source of income, etc., etc. But I was saying all that to come to the point today that when the Prime Minister had said balancing lives and livelihoods, a lot of people, even those who knew better, including this guy whom Norbert mentioned this morning, and people like him, took him to task, pretending that they didn't know. And one of the questions I asked this morning and raised, and I would like to see somebody either write about it, call about it, or speak about it. Educate me. Let us have a discussion. Okay, let us enlighten each other. Sir Arthur Lewis, I don't think, was ever confronted in all his years of writing with the kind of pandemic, that would affect economic development as we are seeing in St. Lucia today and in the Caribbean. Indeed, all over the world, including the mighty America. So what do? How do you save lives and at the same time try to prepare for livelihoods even as the pandemic is raging? And this is all I believe the Prime Minister was trying to say at the time, which is still relevant today. There are a lot of people who need help. I mean, you have to be from Mars if you don't understand that.
What is happening?
Okay? A lot of people are struggling. This is not our preference. This is not how we'd like it. But we cannot continue to push as if there is some bread or manna that will fall from heaven, or as if there's some book that is written. All of the economic jargon and economic knowledge and development knowledge must come together. Sometimes it is in the head of one person already, if you're very smart and very bright, to be able to use and manipulate that information to the benefit of your people. Because in the funding analysis, all of the resources of land, labor, capital management has to come together and be used by the development or by the authority in power in the country at the time to benefit the people. And that is the key. Development is about the people, taking them from a backward third world country and making them progressive, making them prosperous as you push your country forward into a developing country. And I am saying further, and that is why I was looking at the passion with which Sir Michael spoke a while ago. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia is one of the most fortunate and lucky politicians I know as Prime Minister. I'm not saying so to ring any bell or to flatter anybody. I don't have time for that. And people who know me know that that is not the person I am. But you know what? He has a father who has been to the University of Hard Knocks. And with the experience that Sir Michael Chasney has, no one in St. Lucia that I know can match it. Nobody. Nobody. I was there when he was writing his books. I read the book. I have a copy of the book. But I have more than one copy. I think I have 2 copies, right? Make sure my children, all of them, read that book. Sir Michael Chasney embodies all of the struggles of a third world country when one person who started from almost scratch worked his way through hard knocks, sleeping on benches in police stations around the island so that he can be in time to get up, go on the boat, drop things in Barbados, work hard. This is the guy the Prime Minister of St. Lucia has as a person who is a resource. And as I said so from early o'clock, if Alan Chasney, the Prime Minister Alan Chasney, has half the sense I believe that he has, I believe he's very smart. But if he's really smart, he would use everything his father has learned to make himself who he is, to see what he can use to apply to send St. Lucia forward. And that is why, even at his age now, I'm sure he's past 80, I'm talking about Sir Michael Chasney, past the age of 80, You can see he comes in here every Wednesday, arrives on time. You know,
With the
takes his
passion.
time, is well put together these days. I notice he's coming with suit, you know, making us look as if we have dress, you know. And the passion with which he speaks, you can see the guy still has energy to help.
Very
And
passionate.
all I can say to his son, the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister didn't ask me for my advice, but again, I'm using my freedom to be able to say that. And I hope he respects it. This is the kind of resource we need. These are the people that St. Lucia needs to help us to get to where we are going. At his age, he drives down to Vieux Fort. He observed the motorcyclist, which has nothing really to do with the development as such, but is a risk to people. When these young lives are battered and they're in a hospital, it is pressure on the hospital system. The Prime Minister has promised from day one that one of the things he wants to work towards is a national health service and a national health insurance for everybody. I'm sure it is still at the back of his mind. The opportunity now with COVID does not allow him to do it. And we have to appreciate that. And so I just want to say
Yeah.
that the discussion
Yeah.
must be deeper than just telling people, oh, take care of the transit drivers. Give the people their money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, this conversation, Brother Peter, I think it was very, very deep and well said.
Thank you. That was very
and,
good.
very, very
Well,
good.
You know, the
And
thing
I
is
know.
that I've known Peter for quite a while. We've had many discussions. He assisted me when I was writing my book, and I'm sure Peter heard half the things that happened. I could not even put it in the book because there's no space for that, and I don't want to bore people. So I just give them the end result, so to speak, of what went on. But you know, Champagne, it wasn't an easy process. You know, there were things that, if I say now, St. Lucia would not even believe if I tell them.
I believe you.
You know,
I understand.
I tell you something, Champagne. In 1970, I was in Curacao. I had one of my ships going on dry dock, and I wanted to make some changes with the registration of the vessel. And it's quite a process. And there was a gentleman from South Africa as a head surveyor there. And I went to him, very nice gentleman. I spoke to him, I told him what I wanted. He said, get me all the plans. I brought him the plans, and I gave it to him. He took the plans, Champagne, and he dropped it on the ground. And I wouldn't tell you the word he used, but he used the N word, okay?
Really?
People like you, that's how I treat you. And he walked away. Now, I raise this today for one particular reason. What is going on today with Buckingham Palace? This color thing has been around for a long time, okay? Many of us have suffered. Today in St. Lucia, people call me a white man or call my son a white man. My grandmother, on my mother's side, was a black woman from Labrie. I want St. Lucians to know that.
Wow.
When they talk their nonsense,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
This is a Calypsonian once who said, if you're not black, you're white. Okay? Now, I've never allowed these things to penetrate myself. The reason being, to me, that thing has no end. Okay? When the gentleman did what he did to me in St. Lucia,
In Curacao, you mean?
In Curacao.
So he was treating you as if you were a black boy,
yeah.
and he was a white boy.
Let me use the word to you. I gave him the whole bunch of papers, okay? He dropped it on the ground, and he said to me, niggas like you, that's how I treat you.
But
Okay?
What?
That's fine.
for no reason.
No reason. Never met the
Except
gentleman
we thought you were
before,
black.
but Europeans never accepted the fact that West Indians could own anything.
I
Okay?
think that's what that was.
So, Champagne, I was probably, how old was I then?
I've never been called a digger.
Now, okay, whatever,
You probably were what?
30-something
30,
years of age,
yeah.
okay? I picked up my papers, I sat down, I recycled what the man said in my head, I then spoke to the captain of my ship, who was a gentleman from Suriname, wonderful guy,
Yeah.
brown-skinned guy, who taught me a lot,
Okay.
because he was on the second ship that I bought, and he had been trading, and a captain is a full-fledged captain, Champagne, is a very educated person. It is harder to get a captain's certificate than to become a doctor.
Woo!
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Champagne, think of it. I'll give you some details. I don't want to stray away too much.
That's
Let me
okay.
finish what I was saying. So I went to this guy. First of all, I sat down. I recycled what this man told me. I then mentioned it to the guy. He said, look, don't worry that, Mr. Shastri. When we leave here, we're going to Puerto Rico. I will introduce you to a gentleman here who's the head surveyor for that same organization. And he did. And actually, that gentleman, when I went to Puerto Rico, was such a wonderful man. He helped me for almost 15 years when I was in business, not only in the registering of my ships, but also he helped me if I had any legal problems. And I will explain one of the legal problems that I had in a while. However, thinking of myself, my reaction, I thought about, I said, look at me, what am I going to have an argument with this guy about? He's in a top position. He can screw me if he wanted. He could hurt me in many other ways. Let's sleep in dog's lie. Because my turn will come one day.
Yeah.
Okay, he'll be gone. Okay, he was probably 20 years older than I was at the time. And today I'm comparing that same thing with what is happening at Buckingham Palace. Many people may disagree with what I have to say today, Champagne, but I think I accept the fact that Meghan
Markle?
Meghan, right?
Meghan.
Markle, what it is, okay? Went through some very difficult times at Buckingham Palace. The royal family, what do they say to you? You have to have royal blood, okay? Royal blood. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. The lady got married, the gentleman, and they had their difficulties. I do believe the lady had her issues. There's no question about it. But I always say there are three sides of the story.
I was just about to come to that.
For me, Champagne, if I were Prince Harry and his wife, I would have given it a lot more consideration. There are ways to come up. It is going to, what has happened today is going to shake the world. I've listened carefully. A lot of problems are going to come out of it. It's going to put the Queen under a lot of pressure. That may bring her down. That story may bring her down mentally.
So, Michael, if now you've engaged me with that, because I see it on the news, I make sure I get up every morning to watch the news. And I have a different way of thinking about this whole story. First of all, what's her name, Meghan lady, who is married to the prince, is half white, half black, right? Is that a fair statement? Right. Now, she knew she was going into a monarchy that had been there for centuries. It has been a monarchy with rules, regulations, and it has always been
as it is.
As it is.
Correct.
I don't want to go back. I have my own opinions on this. You should have known ahead of time there may be, I'm not saying there will, there may be certain situations or conditions that will not be pleasing to you, and I leave it there.
Champagne,
I rest my case there.
100% right.
Okay?
You are 100%. And that is my grouse.
Thank you very much.
And that is why I'm saying there comes the third side of a story.
But let me say something,
Yeah,
Sir
sure,
Michael.
yes.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
I accept what you said, and I accept what Sir Michael is saying, Champagne. But guess what? I believe that Prince Harry is definitely, was and is in love with this woman.
No question about it.
Because he has had a lot of choice. And even you look at him closely, you can see that he's different from his elder brother. Okay? And that he, I'm sure, had that conversation with her before they got married, because that girl is not stupid. That young woman, not girl, is not stupid. Together, they must have decided, look, we'll face this together. If needs be, I'm sure Harry proposed that we will leave the monarchy alone, we'll go and reside in the United States, which is what they tried to do in the beginning. But guess what? People like the guy you mentioned,
Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan, and all of these kind of journalists who are just as racist or more racist than the royal family, will not leave these two young people alone.
How would you know that Piers Morgan is racist, Brother Peter? I think that's strong.
Champagne, I wasn't born yesterday, you know. I have been following Piers Morgan from ages, you know. Oh, yeah, Champagne, let me tell you something. I make a point of duty to educate myself. You know. That is why I watch the news.
Yeah.
I don't watch it only for information. I watch it to understand the world.
Yeah.
It's very important.
I try to stay away from that story because I think there are two sides, like Sir Michael said.
Yeah.
I believe if we're getting involved with a situation that has been established for generations, you should know at some point that thing will come out.
For me,
and I leave this there.
I would make Harry and Meghan, okay? Meghan is a very wealthy person. She's worth millions already before she came.
Right.
She's not broke, okay?
Right. Yeah.
To me, exactly what you said, Champagne, Meghan should have known what to be expected and whether she could live under those conditions.
Thank you
I
very
don't
much.
hold it against her because a person who's been their own entrepreneur, it's difficult to follow
into
those
that
rules.
type of environment.
And I think what could have happened, I think, because you have to know the whole story to come up with an answer. We can only think.
We only want one side of the story.
Right.
We have not heard the story of Buckingham Palace.
Right.
So.
Buckingham Palace have been through that over. You heard what the Queen said. It's a family affair matter. It will be dealt with. That is one way of calming it. As a matter of fact, listening to this morning to the news, what the news said is that you'll hear nothing further and nothing will
I
just
believe
die
that.
out.
But let me say something else. Let me say something else, and I'm deliberately pausing before I say it. The Queen and her generation and the generations before, I am almost certain, 100% certain, that because of their background, the Greek/Jewish background, that they themselves have black blood, that the hair, look at the daughter, what is the name of the daughter?
Prince Anne?
Prince Anne. Have you seen Prince Anne? Have you looked at Prince Anne's hair? I thought it was only black people used to have that kind of hair. When you follow these people's background, they have Greek blood and the Greek/Jewish blood, which some of it has come from Northern Africa. And anything that is, you mentioned Africa, has to have black in it. But we're not going into that.
Anyway, we want to come down.
Other things to discuss in life. We just have to make a slight comparison.
It's the event of the day.
It is what it is. The man has been there. The people have to sort their own affairs out. At the end of the day, it will be what it will be.
Yesterday, my last point on that. Yesterday, I saw a very interesting picture of the Queen, maybe 30 years ago, 50 years ago, standing between two horses. You know, she loves horses.
I said that.
One was pure white, the other one pure black.
Really?
Okay, so I don't know what message is in that picture.
You know what the message was.
Anyway, so I have my thing on that. So, Michael, I want to get back into the cul-de-sac area because I remember growing up in the 60s and living in Marshall. There was a shortcut. You would have gone through Bishop's Gap, go down into Therefore, and then you go into Farah.
That's right.
And we would have spent the entire day down there in the summertime when school is out. And there's the two rivers there. We would bathe there, we would get ripe bananas, guavas, mangoes, if it was mango season.
You were not there in the days of sugarcane then?
I got in as soon as the banana, I think, got started, just a few years.
That's why we were supposed to go for sugarcane.
Yes, I was not there during the sugarcane era.
Okay.
But there was only one business there, and it was a dairy. I don't know if you remember the dairy in Farah.
Farah's Dairy,
Right, that was Farah's Dairy. Right, that was the only dairy. And we as young kids, we would go there and look at all the horses, and they would milk the cows. I think they make cheese there and everything else. That was the only business. Everything else was bananas, guavas, everything. From Farah to the stretch in the Cul-de-Sac Junction. We would have walked down there, go in the rivers, bathe and everything else. We would see those mules. Not too many young people, St. Lucians knew what a mule is. Those mules would be pulling those wagons. We saw that. I saw all that. Today, the Cul-de-Sac Valley has transformed. And I'm saying all this to make a point. This same Cul-de-Sac Valley about 50 years ago, which was all bananas and just vegetation, will become one of the meccas of St. Lucia. I'm saying this here today, and I said it to the Honorable Guy Joseph 2 weeks ago, and you brought it up with the flyover bridge.
Once they can control
we
the
will see what is
flooding.
happening down there.
You know something, Champagne? I was traveling a lot and living between Puerto Rico and New York when Hess came into there.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, John Compton, when it was finished, the completion and the construction of Hess was a transformation point for Cul-de-sac.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. From
Yes.
the day that went in there, you have the deepest deep water harbor almost in the world.
Yeah.
Do people realize that there are 115 feet, if not mistaken, depth? There's hardly a ship that
In the
has
world that can dock there.
And that is why that the super tankers come to St. Lucia, because the insurance rate for bringing a huge ship like that into the States is very expensive. Because it's expensive because they have to have very high insurance in case there's an oil spill.
Yes,
That was the
yes.
reason for it.
Now, you often mention the container port will
Yes.
be moving over there.
Right.
Does the government have access to that port?
They do. As a matter
Isn't
of
the
fact,
port all Hess?
gave it to them. Okay?
Oh, they did?
Yeah. And,
Oh.
and not only that, Hess was going to help John Compton do that. But, you know, I remember having a little discussion with John Compton prior to his departure from both politics and this land.
Yes.
And he said to me, he had two regrets. One, that he never listened to himself to finish sheet piling from the banana where the geese shed was in Castries, right down to Banan. And the second was to transfer the port down there when Mr. Hess
Cul-de-sac,
Promised him.
But because of political pressures, they said he was taking money from the fella in Jamaica, what's his name, Matalon.
Matalon,
and he
yeah.
said, that's it. But he said he could have kicked himself for not having done that.
Yes.
But on another score, I think John Compton made an out by putting the dump where he put it in. That was a huge error because that is prime land which is going to be screwed up for the next 40 years. They can't touch it.
Really?
And it kind of limits what they can do. They can still put in the dock down there, but you know, 40 years later, Champagne, you know how costs have risen, what's going to happen. So, but I think...
But I thought if garbage is a form of backfill for a particular property, no?
No.
What does it do? How does it damage?
The problem with the dump, same problem that we have at
Yeah,
Shock Head.
sure, yeah.
When you put garbage into a place, the garbage produces certain gases,
And-
okay,
okay.
that can blow up any time.
It's an acid. It becomes
Yes,
an,
you can
wow.
have an explosion.
Methane.
So what you normally do, and in big countries, I don't know if they do it here, they take about 8 and 10-inch pipes and put it 30, 40 feet in the ground, sever them to let
To
it
step
breathe.
the steam. Oh, wow.
Yeah, to get the gases out.
Okay.
It takes 40 years. You cannot build on it. That is why that prime land that JQ had there,
yes.
they virtually sold it to the boy
The other
Oshie,
guy, yeah, yeah.
for a song. But he couldn't put anything real building on it. Yeah. Anyway, it's since been
Oh,
taken-
wow.
yeah. It's
I've
just-
learned something today. I didn't know
it's-
that.
yeah, it's very
so
dangerous.
the same thing goes down there at the minefield next to the St. Jude's then? That where-
definitely.
the one that was moved.
You can't touch that. 40, 50 years, you can't touch that. Can't touch that. So these are gross errors that we made, okay? But, you know, it's history. Today, as you know, the current administration, they have a number of small generators incinerators on the island.
Yes, incinerators,
And they
yeah.
are actually burning the garbage now.
Yes.
They don't put garbage anymore.
No.
And they just take the ashes and just put that somewhere. Actually, some of the ashes can actually be used as a fertilizer.
Yeah, it's costing the government, especially from garbage down in the south, because they're now been transported up to the landfill up
Yeah,
in
and you know what has
Dayglow.
happened? As a result of putting the generators there, I don't hold me to it because I haven't followed up. By putting the generator, it reduces the garbage by maybe to 1/10.
Yeah, because everything is burnt.
Less strips have to go to Dayglow and less pressure on Dayglow.
I
I must
see.
really check
Plus,
on
if
that.
they continue to develop the composting, I think that would be a very good thing for agriculture, you know, especially
Yeah.
kitchen and small farm
You know,
agriculture.
so Michael, you said something there because as I drive by the landfill down in Vieux-Fort,
Yes,
it's a huge piece of property.
huge.
And so I always look at it as a beautiful hotel up there. But now that you've made
Can't
mention
touch it
you
for
can't
50
touch
years,
anything for
Champagne.
50 years.
Yeah, 50 years minimum. That you just have to sort of grass it nicely. Same thing in Cul-de-sac, that whole area. It's
Yeah,
very
it's been
sad.
there a while, yeah.
very, very sad.
Yes.
Very sad.
Hopefully they'll develop the technology to get the methane gas or whatever gas
that's
is
also possible,
to
Peter.
burn out.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Because with technology now, you don't know
Yeah.
what they can do. But
Exactly.
But nobody will put a building on that. Nobody. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 11 o'clock, and we do want to take some calls, but you want to go to the photographs now, or you
Yes.
want to do...
I would just like
Okay,
to air the photographs.
so we have St. Lucia will be putting up some
just go
footage,
back a little bit so I can
and
see
so Michael will be narrating what is happening because he was down there, and just like Mr.
Oh,
Peter
you want to
Josie,
sit here? Come and sit.
just like what Mr. Peter Josie was saying, the passion that Sir Michael has, even at his age, it just goes to show you how this gentleman loves his country. And Brother Peter Josie said he loves this country more than everybody else. I say the same thing. I love St. Lucia more than everybody else. And so Michael would say the same thing. He loves St. Lucia more than everybody else. He has this passion. So he has been going around St. Lucia every Sunday, all alone. I don't think he takes Brother Peter because Brother Peter can't handle the long drive. I don't think.
Well, you see,
No, it's the pandemic, only the pandemic.
Yeah.
one of the reasons for doing what I do is that I've lived many parts of the world.
Yeah.
And I see in St. Lucia today, we have a lovely country.
Yeah, we do.
I don't see what other countries have that we don't have and we can't produce.
You're right.
So, and especially the wavelength under which the Prime Minister is, where he wants to raise the standard in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Once I have a little oxygen still in my
Yes,
body,
yes.
I will try and help
Try
him,
to help,
okay?
uh-huh.
And at least highlight the areas that that can progress on, yeah? Okay?
Yeah. All right. So when you're ready, whenever you're ready, Mr. Cameraman. Okay, St. Lucia, it is Wednesday.
There we are, okay?
Okay, so we're
This
ready.
is the St. Jude's Hospital, and it's progressing very nicely. I was there myself 2 days ago, and wonderful what is going on, wonderful. And what I love about the St. Jude's is the fact that so many people, the workers there, you can see the enthusiasm, and now it's coming together, as we can see in this picture today, how wonderful it is.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. That part on the ground here, which is not yet come, that's going to be the recreational area.
Okay.
Just that you know, yes. The stud walls all coming up nicely, and that will be soon put together. And it's three buildings, 1, 2, 3. And the reason why they were separated, what the architect told me, to allow the buildings to breathe, so you can get the light coming on both sides, so it doesn't not remain like a dark hole of Calcutta.
Oh, okay.
There we
Oh,
are.
wow, look at that.
Absolutely wonderful.
Is that on the interior, Sir Michael? Or
Sorry,
is that the interior?
No, that's the exterior.
That's the exterior.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
That is
exterior.
beautiful.
That's the second building.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
This is the factory where they fabricate all the panels down there. They do, the panels are made. Now I want St. Lucia to know that those panels were originally to be imported, and the contractor said no. Brought his team down and he taught St. Lucians how to, there are 50 St. Lucians making those panels.
Wow, that deserves
And
the
as
bell.
a matter of fact, his plan is when he's finished in St. Lucia, I think these are the same panels they're going to be using at the Hall of Justice.
Ah.
And after that is finished, he's taking those St. Lucians away with him to continue that work.
Oh, wow, that is great stuff.
Now, this is an FBO, in case St. Lucians don't know what it is, fixed base operator. Now, let me explain to you. This is at Hunora Airport, and private jets all over the world come into various airports because you have wealthy people who come in and want to pay the extra money to have the facilities where they can sit, have a cup of coffee, and have meetings or whatever. And St. Lucia never had an FBO before, never had an FBO. That was created recently, and one aircraft coming in there, you pay a few $1,000s just to use that facility. But more importantly, since the Grenadines didn't have a real airport, they now have one in St. Vincent, but they still come here and use that FBO and fly down to different parts of the
they go,
Grenadines.
yeah.
And as you notice, if you go there on a Sunday or weekend or midweek, you see a number of private jets
That's
parked,
right.
and that's what it's about. This is the new KFC building in Cul-de-sac. Yeah.
I was surprised that to hear you say it was open
Sorry?
yesterday. I
Yeah.
heard you say it was open yesterday.
Yeah, and that was opened yesterday.
My goodness.
Yeah, beautiful building.
Yeah.
And that's a big plus for the people in the area. Yeah, thank you. Now, this area here, these are all the grounds that are being cleaned up now because the pillars for the new flyover bridge, that's where they're going to go. So they're now taking their bearings, and what they have already done, they have the entrance of the Millennium Highway. They have taken half of it already because part of it is going into that and the other half has already been done. So once this is finished and the flyover bridge comes over, a big 4 lanes, I don't know if you have it, technician, you can, if you, the rendering of the bridge I sent some time ago, if it's possible, we put it in afterwards, and I will show St. Lucia the size of the roundabout that will come in. Yeah. But we can go ahead and show some other stuff, and if you can get the rendering one, technician, we'll come back to it. Yeah. See. All that's going to be it. Now, we spoke about people spending money. St. Lucia, look at that. Every 6 weeks, you have how many 100 cars coming in. That is a tremendous amount of foreign exchange going out the island. Yet they say people in St. Lucia are starving. Mm-hmm. How can they be starving when you have that amount of cars coming in? That's not all. They have to buy a car, they have to insure the car, they have to register the car, they have to pay petrol, they have to buy tires for the car to keep the car going. Yet they say they're starving. Mm-hmm. That's where I raise my question.
Yeah.
Okay. You can move on. These are all the cars. Yeah. Okay. We will, if you give us a couple seconds, St. Lucia, we will produce, we'll bring up the rendering of the new bridge so we can show you where the roundabout will be shortly. I'll give my technician a couple seconds. He's very efficient and he moves very quickly.
But we want to go back to the KFC.
Yes.
This is a huge plus for the area down there. What it does, because people coming from the south, sometimes maybe you don't want the congestion of cars, trees.
Pick up a snack.
You could get a snack, just drive in
and
there,
going down,
and then you go down to the south.
Mrs. Gardner, who was the principal person behind that here, I remember having a discussion with her some time ago when she put the KFC at by the cinema. I didn't think it was such a good location because I thought maybe they had to wait at nights. But she said that that location has been one of the best locations.
Yes, yes, yeah. The drive-through, the drive-through.
Also, the one in Castries has
oh, my goodness.
very, very successful.
Yeah.
And I kept telling her a long time ago, and I think the Prime Minister also mentioned that the Cul-de-sac area was a good area for that. And we had a reason to say so because I distinctly recall when we built the first supermarket down in Cul-de-sac. Of all the 14, 15 supermarkets that we ran, that supermarket came off the ground the quickest of all.
Down there?
Yeah.
Wow.
The very first day that we opened that supermarket in Cul-de-sac, it met our expectations, and we knew it would be a winner.
Up until now.
Yeah, and up to now.
Yeah.
I mean, like on a Sunday, you have people from Ansoray coming there, you have tourists going down, stop there. On a Sunday, the place is jam-packed.
The thing about the cul-de-sac area, it allows you to breathe. It's a wide area.
Correct.
You have the ocean breeze coming in.
This is what we're talking about, Champagne. So, below that there, I think that's the Castries River, is it? Let me see. Yeah.
The cul-de-sac.
That's the cul-de-sac River. Yeah. So, you have the pillars. So, this bridge, I call it a flyover bridge because it comes right over the river, and it goes down. As my technician will push it along, we'll show you where the roundabout will be. Just give us a couple seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw the work going on down there. A lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work in regards to the bridge.
Yeah. And that's going to be.
If you don't know the area, Brother Peter, you would not have realized that the road had been shifted. It has they moved it slightly to the right.
I must take a drive down there.
I mean, you know, when that area is all cleaned up, and so forth. So it will really be very nice. You know, this is going to make a big difference, huge difference, because the road now it's kind of rough when you leave by Hess coming
Yes,
along
yes.
and all that.
Oh my goodness.
But that's
Terrible.
just one picture of the unfinished thing, you know, just that one picture
Yeah.
it shows a place that is going places, developing, you know what I'm saying?
And this is what roads do, you know, Brother
Yeah,
Peter.
yeah.
If you have the infrastructure of a good road, then people come and build around it.
Yeah.
This is what happens all around the world. So you heard the Labour Party constantly keep saying people don't need roads. I mean, these are the pe-
That is talk. The guys know what they're doing in Champagne.
Take
Do
your
not
time,
let the
technician.
fellas
That's
fool
not-
you.
If you want me to send it again to you on my WhatsApp, or that's okay? Send it to you? Yeah. Well, we can go ahead and discuss and take a minute. And Peter, go ahead with Champagne.
all right, Senusha, so we'll be...
When the Labour Party says that we don't eat roads,
Yeah.
they don't mean to tell you physically you can't eat a road. You know that what?
That's what it means.
They're just trying to play with people's brains.
But
and
that is too much...
instead of the road, give us the money so we will buy food to eat. You understand?
But why
it's
would
not
you
that we don't
continue-
need the roads. That is what they want to put in people's minds. But the average person tells you better and different. I was at Pas La Bonne de Rameau a couple of days ago. And I saw the beautiful work that was done at Montsidon.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yes.
And I turned down where they just built that bridge.
There's a bridge there.
And I know that road needs put hauling and
Yeah.
holing and
Put
doing
holing, yeah.
some work on it, you know. But that Montsidon road, that was beyond my expectation. The people have the concrete sidewalk, the drainage looks perfect, you know.
Brother Peter, I'll say something here. And people need to pay attention. The ones that continue to criticize, maybe they should move around a little bit.
Yeah.
And I move around this country a lot. And never have I seen, in a general manner, so many things being done
Yeah.
in such a short space of time. I've never seen it.
Same here, same here.
I have never seen it. And you...
I can say the same
Yeah,
thing.
and I'm certainly sure you would be able to attest that Sir John Compton, the brilliant Sir John Compton, didn't do it in his time in that short space of time. Remember we had that argument
You
and
know
some
when
people
there
thought...
was most excitement,
I sent it to you.
when there was the most excitement during Sir John's time,
Yeah,
when they were realigning and rebuilding the Castries to Grosedale Road and Pigeon Point.
yeah, that was a nice time
Yeah.
for St. Lucia.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a great time. And someone said, I think it was you that said, or someone called in and said that Bousquet, what was his name? The one, Fetty, what was his first name?
Alan,
again?
Alan.
Alan Bousquet had said that, why don't they do it? Put your papa Guan.
Yes, yes, yes.
And maybe at the time Sir John didn't see the need, or the
I think
person-
Rick Wayne also mentioned that on our independent
Oh, he did
show.
say that?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
But you see, at the time, Sir John only went as far as the money could
The
go.
money could have gone, yes. Yes, he went as far as the money could have gone. So I have never seen in my little time on this earth, in this beautiful St. Lucia, so much work being done generally
Yeah.
throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia. And this is the
And then you
thing.
see what you just said there?
Yeah,
Every leader of the St. Lucia Labour Party can say the same thing.
that is right.
They know it,
They-
they say it, and if I was one of those guys, I would be afraid for my political future.
You have just read my mind, Brother Peter. Because the Labour Party, in all the criticism, normally you'd hear people saying, oh, election can venir, zot can faire bail. They cannot say that.
No.
Because this administration have been doing work from
Day one.
Day
Yeah.
one.
And most importantly, we are speaking our politics here on the radio and television. So Michael, you, myself, others, Norbert. The Prime Minister just continues to work.
Oh, yeah.
His ministers, only Guy Joseph deliberately puts a stick up there, so and so, right? But everybody else is focused on getting the work of their ministry
Yeah,
done.
that is for sure.
And so let those who are not working, who are not employed,
Okay,
talk.
we're now going
So
to
we
show
have
you the full bridge, what it's going to look
Okay.
like, St. Lucia.
Okay, we're back with you, St. Lucia, in terms of the
Oh, yeah.
footage.
Oh. Wow, that looks nice.
So just imagine, St. Lucia, how Cul-de-sac will be transformed when this bridge is completed. it will be just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And that is the place to invest in St. Lucia.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That is going to be the place.
Oh, yeah.
And shortly you'll see the roundabouts, how it's going to work.
That's a long bridge.
Yeah.
No, it's a road and a bridge. Eh?
Oh, road,
It's a
oh,
new
yeah,
road.
yeah.
There we are. So if you can just, when you reach the road, yeah, so St. Lucia to see exactly, you see what I'm saying? You have one traffic coming from Soufrière, traffic coming from Des Moines, traffic coming from the other side.
Beaufort.
And, yeah, Beaufort, yeah, you have coming from Beaufort, Castries. So it's got quite a difference. So this is what it's going to be look like. That is what a civilized roundabout is going to look like. And now that we have the space down here, the government has seen it fitting to take advantage of an opportunity when you have the land to do it properly. And with the Millennium Highway starting shortly, in a couple months' time, St. Lucians will see a new St. Lucia, which is what the Prime Minister has been saying all the time. And
So the bridge road would lead into the roundabout.
Come again?
Yeah.
It would lead into this roundabout, the bridge.
The bridge
bridge
road.
would actually lead into this roundabout.
Yeah, the bridge leads into the roundabout.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the whole idea, you
Yeah.
know? Because what now, it's chaos. That's not good what you have.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous situation. Yeah. You can continue at the room. So.
And look at all of that land that is right there, waiting for development.
Wonderful that we have a great technician here. You see what the river, it will be the river will be well trained now so that
Right.
water will flow. It's going to be a totally different situation. And we have to thank the Japanese government for their technology in assisting St. Lucia. Can you imagine? This is what you're going to have in St. Lucia. This is what you call world class.
Yeah, yeah. Would you know the height, Sir Michael? Did they tell you how tall it's going to be? No?
Yeah. But one can estimate, yeah. But this, I'm telling you, Champagne, this is going to be so wonderful
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's finished.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have no
Yeah.
idea.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it will be great, great, great. So, thank you so much, technicians. So, at the end of our show, there's a couple new photos which we just got this morning of St.
Yeah.
Jude's, which,
Yeah.
and we will
We will
bring
show
that
those.
to the attention of the
Yeah.
public and one. So
You know
thank
the amount of times we have had
Come back to your
traffic stalls because of
I
flooding.
didn't know we had a general here with us this morning. Yeah,
We have a seat
very
for you.
proud about that.
You know the amount of times we have had traffic coming to a stop, Sir Michael, in regards to flooding down there in the cul-de-sac valley.
Correct.
And for hours upon hours. As a matter of fact, we had Thomas,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of livestock and resources just gone down the drain
Thank you
because
so
of
much,
Thomas.
technician. That's wonderful. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to ask you something, and
Sure.
Brother Peter brought it up a few minutes ago. We will be opening up the lines in a little bit in regard to the Prime Minister and the constant bashing that he has taken from the media, from people of the Labour
Yeah.
Party for now, 9, 10 years maybe. And he have always kept his composure. He have not
Let me
responded.
say
Did he learn
something.
that from you,
Yeah.
Sir Michael?
Yeah. I would think he got some of that from me. In fact, he reminded me about that recently on something he did. But you know, I mean, now Alan the Prime Minister, has been married for some years, and I asked his wife about it.
Yeah.
She says, look, I've never met a person like that in my life.
My
He
goodness.
said, this guy comes home with all the nonsense,
Yeah.
and he has something to eat. He loves his daughter,
Yeah.
gives his daughter some hugs.
Yes.
His daughter just loves him
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
And in 5 minutes, this guy's asleep. He said, and he's
that's the way to
snoring
do it.
in seconds.
That's the way to do it.
Sometimes she has to go to another room. He's in such a deep
Yeah,
sleep.
he's tired.
But you see,
Tired.
that is really a gift. Yeah, a gift. And I told you of my
Yeah.
incident in Curacao.
Yes, right.
And I'm sure Alan probably inherited some of that
Yes,
from me.
yes.
You mustn't let these things get you,
No.
because Champagne in life, I don't care who and what you are, you'll always have problems. Yeah. People, all this petty jealousies.
Yes,
or
yeah, yes,
you
yes.
cannot take these things for granted. People do those things to irritate you,
Yeah.
but you have to rise above that.
The area I grew up in,
Yes.
and to a lesser extent, a few years ago, I would probably get involved with a back and forth with some people. And I have gotten involved with it, with the politics. I've been there for a long time. But I want to take a page from the Prime Minister when I saw this thing, because from inception, 20, you remember I gave you the story about Sir Michael, I told you your son would be the Prime Minister, and you even you said
you always
something.
said. I didn't believe you,
You
though.
didn't believe me.
No.
So when I see this gentleman continue to take all those bashings from every angle, I sat one day and I said, Champagne, people will say stuff, don't respond.
Correct.
And I'm doing so good with not
Yeah.
responding. I'm serious. I have taken a page from it. I have emulated from the Prime Minister. I am taking blows every day on every radio station, television station, people in the public, everywhere. And I just keep quiet. And the guy I was 10 years ago, that would never happen. I would have, if I was on a radio program 10 years ago and I was taking this kind of bashing, it would have never just stayed
But
that
all
way.
of us,
Never.
You know,
So I'm really proud of myself for emulating the
yeah,
Prime Minister.
let me tell you something. The three people that tend to give the Prime Minister a lot of pressure was Dr. Anthony, Hilaire, and maybe sometimes Philip Pierre. And when I talk to the
But he
Prime-
got a lot from Richard. He's getting
Sorry?
a lot from Richard.
Yeah,
Richard,
oh yeah, and
Yeah,
Richard.
yeah.
Just let me tell you what his reaction. First was Kenny Anthony. He said, Dad, this guy is opposition. He has to say what he has to say.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
says, Hilaire is a lost cause.
Yeah.
Philip Pierre doesn't know where he's going. Okay? He says,
These are the
Richard
responses.
Frederick is in another world.
Yeah.
He's beating his mouth now for 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Just let him continue beating,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because he has to keep on crowing.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
Richard is an unwanted character. Richard Frederick, let me say something to you about life. Life is very short.
Yeah.
For me, all what Richard has done, let me give Richard his kudos to it. Richard is a very intelligent man. He's a very hardworking person. When it comes to real estate, this guy knows how to build. He gets things done. You cannot deny Richard
That's right.
Frederick that.
Right.
Richard Frederick has two problems in life. Despite how wealthy he is, he needs two things in life. He needs more money and he needs power. But that
Even
is-
with all the money.
even with all his money, and he needs two things, money and power. But one thing Richard has missed in life, and that is the people to make that decision is the electorate.
That is
okay?
right.
The electorate recognized Richard Frederick for two things today. They recognize him for who he is, and they recognize him for what he wants. And he's being told by the electorate, look at me, we'll listen to you, but we don't want you in the seat of power. And he knows why. He knows exactly why he's not wanted there, and he will not get there, okay? Richard Frederick will remain on the outskirts where he belongs, and once the Labour Party touch Richard Frederick, they will now meet their Waterloo. Because the problems that Richard Frederick gave in the United Workers' Party, he'll simply transfer it to the Labour Party and destroy the party. That's what happened. So, you know, and the Prime Minister, I'm telling you something, he has an uncanny way of analyzing those situations, and I'm telling you quite frankly, that doesn't worry the Prime Minister one
I don't
iota.
think it does.
He knows what he has to do. He's been chosen, or not chosen. He's been put in a position. He promised St. Lucia, give me 3 years, I will start producing. He has stuck to his word. He will do what he has to do. And the St. Lucians will judge what the man has done,
Yes.
regardless of what he's done.
is right.
And that is the situation.
Well said.
Right.
Well said.
Let me say something quickly
Yeah.
on Richard, and I don't like to discuss personalities.
Yeah.
But Richard said something recently that I read, that the Labour Party is played into the hands of the Prime Minister. And my reaction when I read that, boy, you know, isn't life filled with paradoxes? Because I believe the Labour Party would be playing into the hands of Prime Minister Alan Chastanet if they touch Richard with a 20-foot pole.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I heard you.
The very opposite of what Richard was saying, as far as I am concerned, and that is only from me, and that's the first time I'm putting this out. I made up my mind. I said, isn't life a paradox? Life has so many twists and turns. What you think is up is down. Sometimes, you know, And it makes life interesting to have read that he said that the Labour Party is playing into the hands of Alan Chastanet, Prime Minister, by not inviting him. These were the unspoken words, by not making Richard the candidate for Central Castries. The Labour Party instead is looking at least 4 other candidates, if I am to read correctly what he said that Philip here said. You understand the point I'm trying to make?
I understand, but I want to ask you, why would you think, because we have heard the talk of Richard Frederick would be the candidate, why do you think that they denied him that opportunity?
For the same reason Sir Alan said. Richard Frederick, let me tell you something, the average St. Lucian, as bad as you think things might get into the United States, the United States is still the leader of the world in everything. And you see that package of $1.9 trillion that was passed there to help the poor people, the country is going to change. Under Biden, it's going to make progress.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the average St. Lucian, if you ask them which country they would most like to visit, or spend at least 2 years or 3 years studying and working.
Oh, yeah.
I think they'll still choose the
They'll
United
still tell you US.
Me personally, I'd never choose the United States. My first choice was always Canada, right, as a young fellow growing up. But I'll tell you something, the majority of St. Lucians will choose the US first. And guess what? Richard cannot choose the US for himself, neither can he help anybody in St. Lucia get a US visa. And you see that mark? I have said to him, and I will repeat it here, if he is to be reintroduced in any serious way into the politics of St. Lucia, he has to fix up his relationship with the United States. And we can say what we want. I criticize America almost every day, because there are a lot of things that are going on in America that are wrong and that could be fixed. America should be even a better country than it is today, especially in terms of her black and brown peoples. Okay? But it is still the greatest country in the world.
Yes, it
you
is.
have to give Jack his jacket,
Yes,
just
it
like
is.
Sir Michael said, the good things he said about Richard Frederick. And it's true.
Yeah.
You understand? But at the same time, you must balance this against the personality you're dealing with when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
People in St. Lucia and Central Castries, they will speak to Richard, they'll eat his money, they'll be nice with him, they'll drink his rum. But when the time comes to go and cast a vote, these people will want somebody to help them to get a U.S. visa.
I've said it here, he cannot win anyway.
Let me tell you something.
Said it here.
Think of one thing, Champion. If Richard Frederick entered the Labour Party tomorrow, I'm just giving an instance, just figure out the fight between himself and Hillier who pursue the same situation. Okay? That's number one. Okay?
Yeah.
The other people, he will make mincemeat out of them. Let me tell you something. Alan Chastanet, the current Prime Minister, recognized the drawback of Richard. And he was the only one to stand up and say to him, my friend, this is not your right role here.
Yeah.
Okay?
But he has to understand that Alan Chastanet did not elect him out, did not vote him out, sorry.
Correct.
It was the delegates.
That's right.
Okay?
And why
It was
did they
the
vote him
delegates.
out?
Yeah.
Because of his behavior. Because of his behavior.
Yes.
But, I'll say one thing to you about the guy, is that what Peter said is correct. How can you take an individual like that who has no standing, no international standing? It is just a no-go for a situation like that. And I'm telling you something. Once he gets inside that Labour Party, he already said, or people have indicated, he has to be in charge.
Yeah, he's indicated
Lord
that.
help the Labour Party. Okay? Thank
All right, Senator, it is 11:30, and we have gone into a little extra time in our discussion, so you could call us now. It is 11:30, as I said, 4560931 if you'd like to pose a question. We also have a WhatsApp number where it is 4850931. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Yeah, good morning to your guest, Mr. Peter Josie and Sir Alan Chastanet.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Very good show, man. Very, very, very good show.
Thank you.
And I like, because actually I at the Amman University, but with technology, I was able to see all the shots, man, of the new cul-de-sac, the roundabout, how the road leading into Castries, leading into going into court and my God, my. But I just want to tell you all, Tuesday I was going to Viewport with a very good friend of yours, Sir Alan.
Michael.
And Michael, thank you. And we were going to drop off some St. Lucian who lives in the U.S. because they've been out in the U.S. for a while. And they came home last year, October, but unfortunately, they were going on Tuesday, and I didn't have time to meet them to talk about politics because the last time I spoke to those people, it was 2 years ago, and because of the corona, we didn't have enough time. But unfortunately, your good friend John, he's an inspector for the Special Reserve. He asked me to come down with him, and I did. And from point to point, we started cul-de-sac. And that's the very first time I am seeing work started there. And what I see in there, this is not a small project. This is a big project that will create jobs, and more jobs for St. Lucia and for St. Lucian. When we left there, we went down to Dennery North. We have a representative by the name of Sean Edwards, not doing nothing for the people. But you have a caretaker or the endorsed candidate by the lady of Philomen, I can't remember her last name, doing immense work for the people. And that's what you need. You need proper representation.
Farah Polius, caller.
Yeah?
Farah Polius, Philomen Farah Polius.
Okay, thank you. And this woman has been on the ground both with young,
Not so young.
how you could put it. That lady is loved by them enough people. And they've been searching for somebody for the longest while. And they didn't run to another man. They put their trust into a woman to deliver the goods.
Very true, very true.
And the truth of the matter is, she has not even won the election yet. And she has been doing so much. And this young man, full of energy, doesn't see fit in to really upgrade Viewport North. But the lady is doing her best. Because we went in there and we saw the concrete road where they begged the man, repeatedly begging him, we want road, if I have a here. But anyway, from there, the people in there, the people were stuck, they were speechless. Then we went into Derry, so my God, boy.
Call, I'll give you another 2 minutes, huh? We don't have much calling time today.
Yeah, but I need solution because those people are listening in New York.
Yeah.
With a number of people and they need to hear what I am saying.
Very good, very good,
The
caller.
guy told his wife, man, when you go to these people's house, I'll be listening to Mr. Shafton, Peter's Josie, and 93.1, and they're listening with interest because it's not good for St. Lucia in New York because the Labour Party has been lying over the years, especially for our St. Lucian people who live in New York and who live in Canada and who live in England, and we have them all over the world. They're lying to those people, and those people will believe in. So the lady is there right now as I speak to tell them that she saw St. Jude. She saw St. Jude. What the government is doing is a good job. And the guy said he saw some kind of thing like aluminum. He said some fireproof or whatever because they're more into the construction than me. And the man said that is good. So why those guys have to lie? And I am sending a message to that talk show who has his talk show every birthday. Stop lying. Stop lying. Uncle Sam does not slip. The United Workers' Party never had them to revoke your visa. But now you're on a talk show and you want to go for political office. We don't want you in Central Castries. Get somewhere else to represent. Go and represent liars where you could get them. You could represent them, but you cannot be in our government at no point in time and not in solution politics, because you are giving us a very bad name out there. And those people were so happy. But the good news for St. Lucia, they're going to cut their trip short because they have investment in St. Lucia. They were happy to spend the 4 months, and I think they will be back in another month because they really see what is happening, and they have not gone and see all what is happening. When I mention about Groveville, they must say, oh my God, this country in 2 years when he was last here, he was in St. Lucia, he has seen a lot of change. And he praised the current Prime Minister, Alan Chastanet, for his good work. And he said he's praying for the Prime Minister because he sees in another 5 years, St. Lucia will not be what it was under the St. Lucia Labour Party. And these guys had ties with the St. Lucia Labour Party. And right now, the ties right now is, they don't have that with him again. Because you put country before people. And they have to stop that. And under the leadership of Aaron Michael Chastanet, we will have a new St. Lucia, and I understand what they mean by having a brand new St. Lucia. And we'll get more people coming to this island to invest so our kids could get jobs, and not forgetting about Cabot. Sooner or later, they will be employing almost 600 people. As we speak, work is going on Cabot. They are St. Lucians making a dollar. And first and foremost, what I realized not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, I thought Christmas was in December, but it seems to me Christmas came in February. I couldn't believe that. It tells you that the people have confidence in this government, and this government going to be around for the next 20 years. Until when our Prime Minister could say, well, I can't take it, this is time for him to rest, and they might have to look for a predecessor to lead us into maybe in years to come.
All right, thanks a lot, caller.
I can't say everything. I want to give somebody else a chance.
All right, beautiful.
Thank you, the people in New York, for listening to 93.1.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, caller. Beautiful. All right, great. All right. And 4560931 is our number.
Caller had a lot to say.
Well, boy, I tell
And
you, he
he
had
didn't
much
even
more.
take the people to Soufrière to see them in the stadium, man.
This is our Lenny, always passionate. Special good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning, Champagne.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, my elderly citizen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
How are
Mr.
you?
Bermuda.
Great university professors, man. You guys are generals, man. Generals. Okay? So, Michael,
Sir,
you were talking about the guy called you a nigger. From South Africa.
Yeah.
I must let you know that South Africa, if you don't have blue eyes, you're not considered a white man. That's the reason why people like Barry Richards, you remember Barry Richards? Basil D'Oliveira,
The cricketer. Yeah.
Eddie Ballo,
hmm
well,
I saw Basil D'Oliveira in Trinidad
all those guys
playing with
from
the
England
English team,
because
yeah.
they didn't have any, they had no blue eyes.
Yeah.
I put that aside. Now, Mr. Sir Michael and Sir Peter Josie, I would like to ask you a question.
Go right ahead.
Especially to you, Sir Josie. What qualifies one to be I won't say to be a candidate, to govern a country? To govern a country. What qualifications does one need, would you say?
I think the first qualification would be in a democratic society whether the people have elected you. And hopefully, if they elect you, you would have done a modicum of economic development, and you'd have sufficient knowledge of what is to be done. You'd look at your land, your labor, capital, your management skills, and what have you, and see how you can use those resources, in what way can they be combined to do the best you can to develop your country and to help your people find employment, build themselves, educate them properly, have the schools, not only academic schools, but also schools that can teach the children and the young people skills. I am very strong on the skill aspects of things, you know. And the education is good, the academics, the 3 hours or what have you. But I would say the first qualification for a good leader would be an understanding of basic economics, development economics, after the people has elected him. He must understand what development is all about. He must understand what his resources are that are available to him, including the people, which I term as labor, which all the classical economists would term as labor. So the two most important things, caller, your people must elect you because they want you. And they want you, hopefully, because you have the talent that it takes to help them develop themselves, their children, and their country.
And the third thing, caller, is that you have to understand and be strong in your convictions. How many times have you heard St. Lucians indicating, oh, we're putting all our eggs in the tourism basket? I want St. Lucians to know that tourism is the one industry in the world that supports every single country. I've said it over and over again. In the great United Kingdom, where they do all the manufacturing of cars, they even invented the AstraZeneca vaccine. But the biggest industry there is tourism. Mm-hmm. If anything happened to tourism tomorrow, the airlines will be in trouble. The hotels all over the world will be in trouble, not only in St. Lucia, right? And as a good friend of mine was asking me only yesterday, why is it that there's so much vegetables available now? I said, because of the pandemic and the tourists are not here. And she said, oh my goodness, I never remembered that. Now that you say that, and that's an international person from Europe living abroad who's been residing in Central for the last 10, 15 years, now understood only yesterday the importance of tourism. Yeah. But the Prime Minister has remained undeterred by all the criticism. Oh, you put in everything. You heard Hilaire, all them talk about, oh, he only understands one thing. That is what they don't understand up to today. They're not facing the reality of the world. Tourism is the answer. And nobody says that we're choosing tourism in place of agriculture. They have to work together. These are the industries that must stick together to survive. And that's what makes the Prime Minister what he is today, because he's been strong, undeterred in the direction he's taken the country.
So Michael, maybe they should call it the travel industry for people who don't like the word tourists or tourism. It's a travel industry, and everybody in the world who is anybody, sooner or later becomes a traveler.
I am saying that the Solution Labour Party, they have told lies, they have used the people, they have fooled the people, they sell our seabed, they have promised to open St. Jude's 1 million times and never open it. They kept a big tens of thousands of dollars finger food party given a hospital a name, and it never opened. To the DSH, they blame our great Prime Minister and the best Prime Minister in the world, Sir Alan Michael Shaftey, about certain things about DSH.
Caller, let me say something to you. Because of the length of time we took on the preamble today with all what is going on, our time is kind of short, so give us a little chance so we have one or two other areas to address, but we'll talk a little later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, caller. All right. You want to do those photos now, or you could take some more calls? He has it.
You have them ready? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's important.
You want to do it?
It's just a couple minutes. St. Lucia, we want to just show you a couple more of the latest photos that has been taking place here. Because it's really very important, because photos speak 1,000 words.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is this morning. That was taken this morning. Yeah. It only shows you the progress that takes place in a matter of 48 hours, because these panels, you can put, once the ground pour is ready, you can put up 30, 40 in a day. So we just want St. Lucia to see what is good. This is your hospital. That is a hospital. That's what you're going to get. for when you finish here, where people from all over will be able to come to a state-of-the-art facility.
Yeah.
You don't have the grounds, huh?
Yeah.
Yet.
Thank you so much. Is that all?
Brother
That's
Peter,
it,
you're not-
technician?
Mike.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was asking
Yeah,
Sir Michael,
yes,
do you have
yeah.
the grounds? I understood the grounds are going to be very nice.
Oh,
The
beautiful.
landscaping.
I sent you last week. The parking, it's all finished off. It's just a matter of the tarmac. 350 cars.
Yeah, I saw that, but that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to share it with the public.
Yeah.
Thanks for holding
We've
call.
done
Good
that
morning.
already, Yeah.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson.
And to you, Mr. Michel, how are you, sir?
Well, not too bad, like halfway.
Half and half.
Yeah. I need the mechanic to hold me up. Anyhow, I don't think the way I see the party should go, more work and less talk. Right?
Yep, that is
More work and less talk. We don't accept blank promises. We don't expect non-valid checks. We want valid checks. And we have been receiving blank checks for 15 years. Now let me say this to you. This government of today is not even 5 years yet. And if you compare this number of years that this government has been there against this Labour Party people for almost 15 years, I don't see why my party you have to talk, you have to campaign, but campaign factual. Have us the money, we have given you the money, have us the work, you have got the work, have us what we have done. Look around you. Don't talk, go and see for yourself what we have done, and when you're through, qualify us.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Zambel?
All right,
And
beautiful.
that's my message.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Very good,
All
very
right.
good message.
Now, Sir Michael, just a few minutes ago, you spoke about the tourism aspect and what it has done for the rest of the world, because everyone in the entire world is relying on tourism. And then they're making the comparison between agriculture and tourism. We saw in the coronavirus that agriculture didn't take the slack.
Correct.
It did not take the slack.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped a lot. We had, produce that helped in a lot, but it did not pull the slack economically. A beautiful morning to you. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you all doing?
We're doing great, thank
Good
God.
morning to your distinguished panel.
Morning.
Good morning
Yes,
to you.
I want to make a couple of contributions, but I wanted to ask Sir Michael a question insofar as the cul-de-sac area. Has any idea ever come about insofar as an airport being done in cul-de-sac, since that is the flattest land available in Castries?
He's asking whether or not any ideas about an airport being built down there in cul-de-sac.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not saying never, but I don't think so, because don't forget, we have 2 airports already. An airport is an expensive piece of real estate to maintain. Very, very expensive. I would say, to answer your question, initially, and with hindsight, probably cul-de-sac would have been the better area for the VG airport
Right,
in
to
the
replace
initial
it,
stages. But with a limited amount of money, and there's so many things to do, it would be a sort of difficult right now to go and add another airport or to do that. But it would have been a better place.
Okay, good. I just because to me I never really heard talk about it, so I was just wondering how comes, because I heard talk about like closing down the VG airport, but I was always saying to myself, definitely the VG airport has no scope to do anything with it in terms of making the runway longer or anything. And then we had all this land in cul-de-sac. So I just wanted to know if
Yeah,
there
sure.
was
No,
never
that's
any
a good question. But
Yeah.
that is the response that I figured. Yeah.
Now, caller, you and I may have, I see cul-de-sac, at one point in time, I was thinking of the same thing in regards to the VG airport. Transform it, or not transform, transfer it into cul-de-sac. And
Right,
have
that's what
the-
I was thinking.
Yeah, and
in-
have the
in
VG,
terms of that, yeah.
the VG area built up with beautiful hotels and everything. But
Right.
now I'm on the other side, I'm seeing cul-de-sac now could be very commercialized down there. A lot of businesses, a lot of,
Well, no matter what you do there, once you have flat land, that is an area
That's
that
right,
you could
yeah, yeah.
develop.
Yeah.
Flat land just calls for development. That's just what it is.
My only concern with Cul-de-sac today is there's a lot of haphazard development taking place, which I don't like, you know.
Oh, well, that goes without saying for all of us in Lucia.
Exactly.
You see, that is why I called a program a few months ago and asked what was happening with that road between Vieux-Fort and Dennery, because I already see a lot of houses are going up on that road.
On the sides.
We need to have a proper highway from that airport there, and I already seen houses. So that lack of planning, forward planning in terms of our road network, we need to get that on the wraps. And
I would say so, definitely.
The
because
bipartisan thing must come into play, because we cannot have these 5-year cycles interrupting that kind of progress. The two parties must find a seat at the table when it comes to road development.
You know, while we're on the air caller, I just want St. Lucia to listen again, and I hope the powers that be will listen. For instance, when you just went in the Cul-de-sac area, the gentleman who has all this old stuff on the side of the road, I've said so for the last 3-4 years. I believe the gentleman he plays an important role, but we have to find a half an acre or something and take those stuff off the road, because it's a hazard. People can run into that. Dayglow, what is not being used should be taken and put into Dayglow or something like that. But it should not be allowed to remain on the side of the road. I hope the government is listening, that something has to be done about that.
And I want to say one thing, caller, very quickly.
Yes,
I believe, and I'm saying it loud and clear for everybody to hear, including those who are close to the Prime Minister, that I would like to hear the Prime Minister make a commitment towards a land development plan for the island.
That's right.
A modern land development plan. Because I have a particular bias towards feeding ourselves. And as much as I would like to see the front sea part, or the frontal part facing the sea, develop into a nice city, into commercial area at Cul-de-sac, I would like to see the back lands, and the development people will decide how far back, but I would like to see some of it reserved for the same people who would be working and living in the developed area. You understand the point I'm trying to make? And we need a good land use plan for the island, an updated land use plan for the island. We need that, and I would like the Prime Minister to give us a commitment that in his next government, that would come under his portfolio. Thank you.
Definitely. And going back to Sir Michael's point there, that is a perennial problem we have insofar as allowing things to fester before we take care of it. So that problem is talking about the gentleman on the cul-de-sac road. We allow things to develop into a big saw before we start tending to it. Just like vendors just go anywhere and do anything, we have to nip things in the bud. Like I said, so if there's a plan, we need to follow the plan so that these things will happen and create a lot of problems down the line. Incidentally, there's something I wanted to say. I noticed now just below the nurse's home at Victoria Hospital, they have a lot of little houses going up there now.
Oh, yeah.
So if in case the powers that be haven't noticed it, there is development going on there insofar as little homes.
Caller, I've seen it. I saw it.
On-plan development.
Well, without a doubt.
I saw it, Caller, and I was asking myself the extension of Fuasho, why is it being allowed to happen?
Exactly.
Why is it being allowed to happen?
People to build homes
and here's
then
the
to
thing.
break it down. Then you have the hue and cry from the opposition.
That's right.
Oh, the Mali way again. You know, we have to nip things in the bud.
On-plan development. And it costs more when it's on-plan because you have to break down and rebuild.
Exactly.
Yeah,
okay?
Caller, I saw that.
The other point I wanted to bring, when we were talking about the tourism and the agriculture, we have to think of tourism as a bicycle wheel, and they have the spokes, and then there's the hub. The tourism is the hub,
yes,
and the spokes are all the
very well said, caller. Very well
because
said.
without the hub,
You
the wheel it makes no sense. So
Amen.
that's why we cannot focus solely on agriculture, because without tourism, agriculture is nothing.
Correct.
Where we have to look at agriculture, as far as I look at it, agriculture is, we're supposed to look to self-sustain ourselves in agriculture to decrease that foreign exchange. So there are certain crops that certain things we shouldn't be importing at all, like cabbage, tomatoes, lettuce, carrots. All these things, we have to look to agriculture in that view. to self-sustain so that we don't have to import these things and sending away valuable foreign currency overseas.
Correct.
So
And
we
the
have
more,
already
and the
done
more
with
people
eggs.
you can sell to, Caller, the better.
Right. We're getting there in chicken, but I still think we're a little ways off. I think we're only about, 30% right now? So we need to get that one going.
You see,
then
and while you're on the subject, Caller, and you talk of all the vegetables, just last week, what did I see? That the American government had to put $80 billion, 80 into American Airlines alone to keep the industry going. Now, there you go. Without the tourism industry, the airlines would collapse. So you see, it only shows you, tourism, as you said, you talk of the spoke on the wheel. That's a very good analogy. These are all the areas that tourism remains the hub, and all these things generate from that hub.
That's right. And the last thing I wanted to highlight on was the Richard Frederick thing. Richard Frederick is of the impression that he's on his own capable of just sticking the Central Catchment seat. But I think he needs to look back as to where he came from. In the by-election, who was behind him in the by-election?
Yes, sir.
It was UWP.
Yes, sir.
When he won, it was on the UWP ticket.
Yep.
So he must never forget
where
he came from insofar as winning the Central Catchment seat. He has always had UWP support.
Well, a slight correction, Nicola. He didn't win on the UWP ticket. What Sir John did, he never put in a candidate. He went in as an independent, but the support he got
UWP was backing him. That's why
right.
they didn't need to put somebody, because they were backing him.
Amen. So the support he got was from primarily the UWP.
You know, Caller, a while ago, still talking about Richard Frederick, I was trying to make a point which slipped me a while ago. To each his own in life. I was driving recently up in the north, and somebody said to me, let me just show you something here. And where Richard Frederick has built a number of homes, and if you recall, on the St. Lucia Gazette, the St. Lucia Labour Party gave him permission to build those places and gave him duty-free on all the ingredients for the homes.
The equipment.
On equipment, okay? When he sells a house and the person buys, they pay no taxes, okay? And I want to know, why did the Labour Party see it fit to give him all those concessions? But I leave it to the public to decide for themselves. And you know, as I said about Richard Frederick, we all have some good, we all have some not so good. Richard Frederick is a businessman, he's very clever, he knows how to extract things from people, and he extracted what he could get, and he's done a very nice project up there. But what Richard Frederick wants today, he wants that additional power to do other things in government, okay? I'm not at this point in time going to say any more concerning all the government lands that are disposal to politicians so they can make decisions on their own. Richard Frederick must be kept as far away from the Treasury and the corridors of government as possible. And
okay, thank you very much. I'll listen off air. Let somebody else make
Thanks a lot, caller. Very great contribution. Thanks a lot. Thank you very, very much. And the caller was making a great, great, great contribution, especially when he spoke about the hub and the spokes regarding tourism. Every country in the world, that's where they are. All right, 4560931, St. Lucia. Are we still going up to 12:30 or are we going up to 12 o'clock?
Yeah, we'll give you another 15 minutes.
All right, 12:15. That is what we're going up to. You know, you spoke earlier, Brother Peter, about, okay, we have a call coming in via WhatsApp. A beautiful morning to you. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I have a question for either of the gentlemen.
Wow.
How do they compare crime 8 years ago and now? And why is the justice system taking a spiral and is going down instead of it's improving?
Caller, I really never understood what she asked. I didn't understand the question. There was a lot of feedback, and our apologies on that. If you want to call back, we never understood what the question was. Sorry about that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Michael.
Morning.
I'm talking to you now. I remember in the early 60s, you talk about Puerto Rico, but I was one of them that was supposed to go to Puerto Rico with you. But I didn't have a passport at that time. But some of my relatives, my cousins that had passports, they go with you to Puerto Rico on a ship and work. And I think at that time, I think you are the first person that was taking people from St. Lucia to go and work overseas in the early 60s. And up to now, I have some of them still working with you because of Pamela is one of them. Dosha, who is with you, is one of them. I am a Nestor, and they are Nestors. You married Pamela to a nice man, get her a nice husband. She lives in Barbados, but she never drop you. You'll never drop her. And I really appreciate that. That's why I like my Prime Minister. I'm praying for him. I'm praying for the party. I'm praying for my people that work with you all. Up to last week, I met Dosha in the supermarket. We were talking.
And you are caller, what is your name?
I'm Edna.
Edna. That
Yes.
rings the bell, so Michael, you know who she is? Okay.
I'm Edna. I'm from
Okay.
Shrewsbury. That time we used to live Marchand.
Yes,
When
okay.
he was taking the people to Puerto Rico
Okay.
and work on a ship. Yolan is one of them. You should know Yolan too, because Yolan went. Yolan and Pamela, they went with
Okay.
you all. But Dosha she was too young. I myself, I could have go, but at the time I didn't have a passport yet.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, I would be still with you all.
That is a long time ago, caller.
Yeah,
Yes.
in the
50s?
early 60s, you know.
60s, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm sure Mr. Michael will know that, will remember that, because he still have the branches with him.
All right.
Hey, Mr. Michael,
That is correct.
you know Pamela,
Certainly, very well. Yeah.
Dosha,
Yeah.
they are with you all, and you all are nice people. So whatever they say about my Prime Minister, I want him to hold tight, don't give up. When I spoke to him the last time, I met him in a funeral, I talked to him, don't give up.
Yeah.
Let the Labour people talk. Let them say what they want to say. But I just don't want him to give up.
Yeah.
Because if he give up, we don't have a St. Lucia again.
That's very true.
You're right.
Well, thank you
Telling
so much, caller.
because
That's so
what
kind
he's
of you.
doing there, he's not doing it for himself. He don't need that. I always tell them he's not a hungry man. What he's doing there, he's doing it for us and St. Lucia. So
Thank
we
you.
have to appreciate that.
Thank you, caller.
Thank you very much,
Let
caller.
us just forget about the Labour people and just do what he have to do.
That's right.
You see the Dolphin Park he's supposed to put, and they don't want him to put it. I told him, I have a picture. I was in Mexico. I went on a cruise when I stopped in Mexico, and I paid 20 US to have a picture. I have the photo there with the dolphin kissing
Yeah,
me.
it's true.
And I tell him, if you put that in St. Lucia, we'll make it in St. Lucia.
Oh, yeah, that is for
Nobody will
sure.
have to go to Puerto Rico and snap a photo with a dolphin.
All right.
You know,
I'll give you the
I
bell
told
on
him
that,
I
caller.
said, if you need the picture,
I've seen it.
I will bring it for him and show it to them. Let the Labour shut up. The last time I was going to America, I
Yeah.
got wet on the airport. I
Right.
told you that.
Yes, you
the
did.
other
You
day.
did a few days ago.
Yeah, I got wet. When the rain started, I was already going on board, and I'm suffering with asthma. I forgot my
The
inhaler.
medicine. Yeah.
Is a friend of mine had a shirt in her hand luggage, and she told me, "No, look, wear that." And the asthma raised. When I reached in the States, I had to go straight to doctor, spend endless money to doctor and to get my inhaler. And then these people talking about we don't need the airport. Eh? We don't everything the Prime Minister doing the opposite. They don't want nothing. They don't. Everything he do is wrong. Everything is wrong. So I just don't want him to give up. I like the
He's
way.
he's not going to give up, caller.
No, I don't want him to.
No,
give
he
up.
will not.
Just listen to them,
He will not.
Yes.
He's not a quitter.
and I'll continue praying for. Yes. Okay, Mr. Michael.
Thank you, darling. And
Bye-bye.
you have a pleasant day, sweetheart.
Yes, thank you.
All right, beautiful, very nice. So, Michael, you were in the passengers business, moving passengers to Puerto Rico?
Actually, Pamela came to work with us in my office in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And Pamela's almost like a member of the family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We employed Pamela when she was 16 years of age, and now she's going on 17. She's
Oh,
still
right.
around.
Oh,
yeah.
great. And she
Yeah.
still remembers everything.
She even holds the key to my vault.
Oh, that is good. Hello, good morning.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
It is afternoon. Oh, you're right, boy. Thanks a
Well, I
lot.
tell
Sorry
you,
about
when you
that.
see United Workers' Party is in office and things moving right, you're not even concerned about the time.
You I did not realize it was 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Gentlemen, very good program as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I, Dr. Secret, is here to report on two projects that I have seen for myself today
Uh-huh.
in the Mr. Ezekiel Joseph constituency. The Timon Lower Road that has been completed in terms of pouring the concrete. Right now, the contractor, they just organizing the grill, and that is a nice piece of work.
Yeah.
Number two, there's a place called Shine Road in Laguet that's joining with Larry Chickenback. As we speak, they are pouring concrete on that road to make sure that the people have a very good or smooth way to get home. There was another one I wanted to see. I up Plateau, Montciton area there. They told me that I'll not be able to go down there because they have some heavy-duty equipment on the road.
Yeah.
So when the Labour Party say nothing is happening, I would like Sir Michael and Mr. Peter Josie, let us try to get a 30-seater. And, because of social distancing, we could have at least 10 of them in each 30-seater and give them a tour around the island. Because by staying in their offices and, maybe wherever they may be, they're not seen. Although I believe that they are seen, but it's just a matter of being mischievous, trying to brainwash St. Lucians that don't open their eyes for themselves. But things are happening in the country, and later on tonight, I am inviting everybody to tune in as around 6:05 this PM, 6:05. It will be Champagne, Ring the Bell, and Dr. Secret. We'll be showing you all the different constituencies that we went, and this is a program that we starting today. But as every other weekend, we will be taking photo shots all around the island.
What I would like you to do for me, caller, because I haven't got around to it, if you could go in Dennery South, I think. Yeah. I want you to take some pictures of all the new drainage works that have been done.
Yeah, we're going there next week.
Are you going
Yeah, we're going there next week.
Okay, wonderful.
Dr. Secret is today or birthday?
Ring the Bell's birthday, not him.
Oh, it's Ring the Bell's birthday.
Yeah.
not
Ring the
yours.
Bell's birthday. So we're not having a party in office, but all those who want to join us, they can join us online to celebrate his birthday.
On Monday, I was on the Citon Road, Montciton Road at Babuno. It's very impressive.
Yes.
Very, very
But yet,
impressive.
and you know what? Somebody told me, this lady, and I know that is going up against Mr. Joseph. She never used to be nice to people in her own neighborhood. But right now, she's at everybody's doorstep, and she wants to ask people, Ezekiel supporters, why now all of those roads have been built when you all did nothing? They did nothing. And that is what I always ask in the Labour Party to tell me, while Felix Felicite was in office and Alvina Reynolds, what did they do at Timon except 2 strips that they put for the supporters in the area where they live in? They were the only ones that they did something for.
All right, Doc, we'll discuss that a little later.
Doc, let me tell you
Yeah.
quickly what comes to my mind on that in that constituency. I felt a little sorry for Alvina because I thought that she was pushed by that person, and I believe at the time that person was probably more prepared than Alvina was. So I always wondered whether she was afraid to take the plunge and what have you.
Yeah.
Only now, because I don't know the individual, I believe since I left the Labour Party, people like that, if they could have killed me, they would, but that's for another show. Only now I'm beginning to put one and one together, and I realize that person was taking care of their personal business all the time, to get a doctorate, a PhD, pushing poor Alvina at the forefront. Why don't the party give Alvina another opportunity? I know she things that she's always criticized about on St. Jude, it was not her fault. It was what the Prime Minister asked her to say she was saying.
It is true.
So I believe if the Babonneau people are sensible and smart, especially the Labour supporters up there, they would say, listen, Alvina didn't get a good break. People pushed her because they were pretending that they were Labour. When it was time for others to go, they didn't go. Poor Alvina was sent to be crucified. So now she should get another opportunity. I'm not saying that she would win, but I believe it is only fair for Alvina to get another opportunity at Babonneau. Okay?
Well, she better don't try, because this time I believe that would be the most craziest woman ever on the streets of Babonneau, because we're going to give her licks from left, right, and center.
You gentlemen are so different to me, man. The Labour Party, for what they have done in this country, the atrocities, as my friend in Bermuda would say, should not even be given an opportunity to even contest any seat. Special good morning to you. Hello. Good morning. Okay, so we lost this one. So, Michael, I saw a lot of steel. There was a huge ship in the Vieux-Fort, at the Vieux-Fort docks on the weekend, last weekend. And I heard that it brought a lot of steel. We're going to get back into that. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Champagne.
Good afternoon.
Very nice program.
Thank you, sir.
Morning to the gentleman you have in front of you there.
Good morning.
Morning, my brother.
Let me tell you something. I recall I was at the meeting of the Hotel Association some time ago, and some jazz. Alan came up with some ideas of jazz, and everybody thought it was this man was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
When it really materialized, everybody jumped to it.
Oh, yeah.
And the jazz stayed in St. Lucia for a number of years.
Decades.
And they dismantle it, they mash it up, they do all kinds of things.
The Labour Party did. They're the one that killed it.
Correct.
They're the one that killed it. They didn't know how to manage it.
And everybody from all over the world came to St. Lucia for jazz. And that was Alan's idea. They even say he stole it from a lady he spoke to somewhere in America. I don't know where it was. And this guy is, everybody, I remember Joe Begas saying to me, this guy is fantastic. And I see the man grow to be a prime minister. And let me tell you something, I don't think that man should leave that seat. He reminds me of John Compton a lot.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. You know, when the caller just brought up an interesting point to me there. You know, here you have a young man back there in the early 90s, 1991, 92, brought about the jazz festival at that age, and the Labour Party still destroyed that. They could not even manage that. Can you believe these people? Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Michael. Good afternoon, Brother Josie.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. I want to bring something out there between the 6 and 11. When I say 6-11, you're supposed to know what it is anyway.
Well, I don't know what it is.
Well, I'll send what I have to send for Mr. Nobot, and everybody will understand.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I myself will call anybody from the 11, call them dog, call them horse, nothing so. I want Mr. Nobot to stop that. That's not good enough, to call people horses. And plus somebody else come in and tell Mr. Nobot, it's not horses, they are mules. It's time for that to stop, man. That's not the kind of way to rule with radio station.
We don't know what you're speaking of, caller. That this is not Mr. Nobert's show, but I don't know what you're speaking of.
I'm telling you, 6-11 is 6 Labour Party and 11 UWP. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
So when you call in the 6 Labour Party horses, I don't want nobody to call the 11 parties anything like animals' names. And then Mr. Kelly, that's what I say.
All right, Brother Kelly, I get your point. I understand
okay.
it.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Brother Kelly. I did not hear any. I did
especially not the DSH horses. We are talking about some ship with steel.
Yeah, I'll get back to that. Let's take a call. Good morning. Good afternoon to you. Hello.
Hey, Champagne, good afternoon.
Yes,
Just
yes.
quickly,
Yes.
you know, some people need to recall correctly and they need to get their information right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they hear things and they don't quite hear right. I never refer to anybody as horses. I refer to them as 6 angry horsemen.
Ah, okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thanks a
And,
lot.
and nevertheless, we need to understand very well the English language. Because clearly anybody who walks on 2 feet and who is a human being is not a horse.
That is
So
true.
if you refer to anybody as a horse, if you refer
It's
to them as
irrelevant.
a chicken,
Yeah.
if you refer to them as a coward, it's an analogy relating to or referring to a particular demeanor of that person or behavior
The
set of that
behavior,
person,
yes.
which
Yes.
is meant to convey a certain understanding about that person's demeanor, their behavior, or their disposition as far as dealing with anything is concerned. And that's all I have to say
Yeah.
about
And,
it.
All right.
caller,
Thank
caller,
you.
as far as that is concerned, if a body calls you a horse, I mean, of what moment should that be to you? You know?
Yeah. You see, this is why I don't just jump into anything that I don't know, because I didn't know what the caller was talking about. And Mr.
He's
Norbert
always talk of horsemen.
called it- Yeah, he spoke of horsemen and he didn't literally say horse.
It's
All
time.
right.
Okay.
Special good afternoon to you. Hello.
Morning, Champagne.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, moi quand je sorti vieux circuit.
Oui, partner.
Oui, garçon, moi do ini comme là nous regarder pour de l'eau vieux circuit.
Uh-huh.
Les ba parti, puis là il dit pour mettre lui, elle m'a dit qu'il pour mettre, elle m'a quitté y aller pas jamais de nous aller.
Oui.
Et qu'à présent, Spider vie elle quitté pour mettre qu'il pas de l'eau.
Oui.
Et moi pour plan jamais été en fond.
Aïe, aïe,
Yo
aïe.
ja connaît lui.
Oui.
Donc yo jamais été pipe là.
Aïe, aïe,
Et
aïe.
moi regarde ça va faire me dormir bien à présent. Autant non.
So, nous avons gardé bon finissement, moi, ça, nous, ça, ni de l'eau.
Oui, il y a une
Ah.
il y a cette population maintenant.
Oui, oui. So, tout le monde se pose content.
Moins de ces loups, c'est là qu'il faut espérer pour mettre courant, pour
Oui.
monter dans nous.
Bon, si mets bien si quoi, si mets bien si quoi, j'ai arrangé tout, hein. Si mets bien si quoi, j'ai payé plus tout
Oui,
comment.
oui, oui, oui,
Ok,
oui,
belle
oui.
parole.
Non, non.
Puis moi, ouais, moi parti là hier.
Oui, c'est vous passez, ouais,
Oui.
ouais, ça c'est bon.
Eh ben,
Et quand l'autre bagaille, moi, il est parlé encore,
Oui.
moi, aller à stadium là, pour un vaccine, et bagaille, ça a été bien organisé.
oui,
hein,
c'est ça,
regarde
monsieur Josie dit.
Oh, oui, oui, bien organisé, là.
So,
C'est
comment
well
tu vas
organisé.
senti du corps?
Oui, moi, ça dit bien. Ma même ça, côté du dia, tout parce que moi, tout moi, bon.
Ok, ok, maintenant. Eh ben, merci, Anchai.
So, fait mon ça, jeudi,
Oui.
il va vivre là, jeudi, il va vivre là encore, mon qui pourquoi pas aller là jeudi.
J'ai dit. Ok,
Oui.
beautiful.
Ok.
All right.
Bon, bonne journée.
All right, beautiful. And St. Lucia, you heard what the gentleman said. There's water going to be. Okay, so we're going to do our final call because I'm getting some
Yeah,
sign.
cool.
Good afternoon to you. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead. I could hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Okay,
You're probably in the wrong location because you keep breaking up. Hello? You keep breaking. You come.
no, but calling hello.
I'm hearing you.
You hear me?
I'm hearing you. Yes, go ahead, caller.
Okay, I'm just calling. I said, okay, the gentleman before the last who called and said what Norbert did last night or whatever, but I'm just reminding him that the 17 horsemen named themselves that way. Because remember when the election called the 16-1, they called themselves the horsemen, so never didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
If you call yourself a horse, somebody else can call you a horse too, so the man doesn't have to come here and say that. Just let's remind them where they is.
But you know, in reality, in great terms, a horseman is not considered to be something bad. Huh? A horseman is always something of stature, some
No,
powerful
but
individual.
won 16-1.
Yeah.
Won 16-1.
Yeah.
They won 16-1 and they call themselves the 16 horsemen. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
we
saying.
all can remember that, right?
Yeah, that is true.
So we haven't got a point that the man who called and said about stop calling the horse and horse. But you could name themselves, they give themselves the title.
Yeah.
So now from the 16-1, it came down to 6 horsemen. Case closed.
Amen. Okay. All right, thanks a lot, caller.
This can be a compliment depending
Of
on
course, a horseman is not.
the horse.
Yeah, a horseman is not regarded as something bad. Horse people. I remember in wrestling terms there was a couple of guys called themselves the horsemen. Any last words, to Michael? And I was telling you about this cargo ship that I saw on the weekend down at the docks in Vieux-Fort, and I think it was a ship carrying a lot of steel. And so I saw those steel being transported, and I think all of those steel were going to the airport.
I think so, because remember, you have a lot of, I don't know what kind of steel you saw. Was it steel bars or pipes? Or,
I think it was just ordinary.
Well, remember, there are thousands of tons of steel have to use in that case. So they have to do a lot
the
of
reason why I brought that up is things are happening down there in terms of they found the groundwork. Yeah. All right. Any last words, Mr. Josie? I know you have to leave.
I'm just always very pleased and happy to be able to come here on Wednesdays to share in the discussion. And I'm very heartened when I hear that people call to compliment what is being said and to compliment us. I hope we can continue the discussion. And I just pray for St. Lucia that St. Lucians, I am certain are very smart people. I hate it when they try to play stupid. I don't like that. Don't do that to yourself. St. Lucia stands out as the island with the Nobel laureates. And in the old days, and by that I mean 70s, late 60s, when I used to go to Barbados, I saw how far ahead of us Barbados was. Now when you go from St. Lucia to Barbados, you can hardly tell the difference in terms of, the speed with which the country is moving, the progress, the people,
St. Lucians should
so
be feeling
I just
proud.
hope we continue on that road. And as I said, I've been very impressed with the Prime Minister. I like the fact that he's not responding, he's not answering to the nonsense that people talk, especially the opposition. My only regret is that I believe the opposition, some of them are well-trained, well-qualified, and I think they should raise their game a little and educate the people of St. Lucia. They will not regret if they do it.
Yeah, I don't think that is in their forte.
They should really try to up their game and educate the people of St. Lucia.
That is not what they're looking for to do.
Well, that's why I'm saying I want them to do it.
Yes.
They might not take my advice, but that is what they should do.
Yeah. So, Michael, the Rodney Bay, before I want you to include that into your last a few words. The Rodney Bay 4-lane, it is taking shape.
Yes.
It is becoming every day by
More
the
realistic.
minute, more realistic and more attractive. It's looking beautiful. I was up there yesterday. I have not been up there in a couple of weeks, but it's really taking shape. It's looking beautiful all day. It's still far away from being in the total completion, but it looks good. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I'm very pleased about it. What I like is what they have done, because I think they had some second thoughts about the first roundabout. It was a bit tight, and that's why they had to acquire a small piece of land to enlarge it, because you have to make those you have to think 50 years ahead campaign. And I think we now, in March, April, May, I'm saying by sometime in May.
It appears to me that they're going to incorporate those two naval pillars into the roundabout. I saw them.
They will be incorporated. Yeah. It's important. As a matter of fact, I haven't even to mention that to the PM, but I got calls from some people who said, please make sure that those
incorporate. They look good. But one looks slanted a little. Maybe
well, it's not only because these things were transplanted. They were taken from one part.
Oh, they were?
They were down by the Bay Gardens, because these columns were where they had the cemetery.
Okay.
So they moved. Somebody thought it was Dr. Popovic actually who took on his own and brought them there.
Yes.
So it's just there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the foundation.
Yeah.
They can straighten
it
that.
Needs to be how old do you think those pillars are? You think they're approaching 100 years, maybe?
80 years at least.
No.
The
Second World War.
Second World War, so we're approaching 100 years.
We're
in 2021, so you're talking 80, 70 something, 80 years.
They were at the ramp, because remember the airplanes used to come in there. That's why they call it the Naval Air Station.
It's a great piece of U.S. history.
Or seaplanes.
And the Americans love the history, and you know for sure if you put a nice plaque on it, the Americans would want to come there and take photographs and everything.
I think it's very important.
I think it's very important that they has incorporated into the roundabout and everything.
And even I was thinking, Champagne, the second runway down at Beaufort, they should really give it some sort of a name,
Yes.
a real name,
Binfield
and
something.
reincarnate it.
Yeah.
So, as you said, because the Americans, that would be history. They would
Oh,
love that
they
kind
love
of
the
thing.
history. They'll spend a lot of
No
money on
question
that.
at all about
And
it.
all of those tunnels we are hearing that it's going through V4.
Correct, yeah.
And there's a General or Colonel Binfield that was inside.
Right.
Why don't we get a photograph of
Right.
Binfield, put it down there in the
Yeah.
tunnel, have the Americans
good
to come
idea,
in,
Champagne.
dig up those tunnels, put some light in. I would get one of those old war jeeps. You could go to the United States, get one of those jeeps, put it down there,
Good
have
idea.
Sir Binfield in it.
Excellent idea.
Oh, my goodness.
Excellent.
Anyway, your last words, Sir
Yeah,
Michael.
well, today, we dealt with many subjects, but one of the subjects I want to reiterate on is the fact that when we spoke of the Prime Minister, and that's one of the reasons why they put all the efforts to discredit the Prime Minister when they were going up. They didn't want him there because they knew what would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were really determined because they threw everything at that guy. I mean, I remember when Hilaire spoke on the market steps 2 weeks before the elections, somebody made a note of it and said they called the Prime Minister's name 169 times.
169.
169 at that one meeting. Yeah. But you see, what they didn't realize,
my
Champagne,
goodness.
when you criticize people without real motive, what you're doing is you're
promoting them.
You're
basically.
promoting them.
Yeah, you're promoting them.
They actually promoted the
They
Prime
did.
Minister because
They
the
did.
name Alan Chastney was not
Oh,
well
yes,
known.
exactly.
They're the ones that promoted
They
the name.
came out
Yeah.
only with my few little stickers way back then, but they
Correct.
called his name out a lot.
I mean, unbelievable.
They
Everyone
called his
would,
name out
who
a
is
lot.
this Alan
Yes,
Chastney?
yes, yes.
But
They
you
called
know,
him- his
that's
name out a
life,
lot.
Champagne.
Yeah. So we could clearly say they shot themselves in the foot.
Sorry?
They shot themselves in the foot then.
Correct. That's what they did. So, St. Lucian, thanks. It's always lovely to be here. I think we had a very good meeting today. It was very open, and a lot of new ideas come up as a result of what is said. Yeah, and we want to continue to thank the new Commissioner of Police for his work. We wish him all the best and continued success. And
I am longing to have him on a program. I would love to have him here one of these days. I know
sure
him
you
personally,
probably
so
will,
I would love maybe one of these days.
So thank you so much.
Have you read the paper? You have
want
read
the paper?
I could
Take it. I'll get another
thank you.
one.
I was going to buy one.
Okay,
Anyway.
guys.
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot. And St. Lucia, thank you very much for tuning in as well on another beautiful Wednesday morning into the afternoon with my two honorable gentlemen, Mr. Peter Josie and Sir Michael Chastney. We will be here, God willing, next Wednesday to bring you another program of those two gentlemen in studio. And we wish you a great afternoon, gentlemen. Have a good one. All right, St. Lucia, it is 12:27, and I will get back with you in just a little.
Island-wide developments and improvements continue under the United Workers' Party. Even amidst COVID, improvements and establishments are ongoing. Here are a few of the images covering the developments on the island as of the 3rd of March 2021. The Blue Waters Water Factory. Beautiful work has been done and continues to be done. We are looking forward to this being established. As we move on to Espérance, or the Diamond Road, which was destroyed in 1994 by Tropical Storm Debbie. The United Workers' Party has undergone some serious construction, clearing, opening, and repairing the damage to the Diamond Road. This is an alternative road in Soufrière to Fort Saint-Jacques. The Diamond Road looks beautiful under the United Workers' Party. Even more developments are ahead. The St. Jude's Hospital car park is almost entirely complete. It's very spacious, right next to the soon-to-be completed St. Jude's Hospital. The Moshi RC Primary School has been improved, has received a facelift, as well as beautiful murals. Education is very important to the United Workers' Party, as that is clearly shown. Construction and repair is on the way on the Daya Mall. Vendors have been relocated from the Daya Mall to ensure that that is a smooth transition without affecting persons' ability to earn a living. The roundabout at Kilago is also on the way, and we know that the residents from the north are looking forward to that. When it is completed, it should reduce the traffic jams and the traffic situations in the north. The brewery warehouse at Union is also on the way as well, and the Grace Water Treatment Plant in Vieux-Fort construction has begun on the area, and we look forward to this as it develops. Of course, you can see some aerial images from the Grace Water Treatment Plant as well. The United Workers' Party continues to provide jobs, continues to improve, and continues to develop, even amidst COVID.
My mother sent us back. It was out of his breakfast to give us something. Still good.
Things were very difficult with my parents, and my mother opened a small bakery in the Castries area.
Because my father do everything he could do for me, not for himself, for me, personal. And from there, when I see my son, I just stood and I just remember my mother and my father every day, how they take it so hard to bring us up. And I seen from today there, I have two disabled children from mother. The mother asks for freedom, and they don't want that freedom, you know.
PAX is the agent for Caribbean Line, which offers an effective alternative for global integrative of transport logistics from Sheerness, UK to Vieux-Fort St. Lucia in shipping, documentation, administrative procedure, loading and unloading operations. We also offer courier, small package service, customs brokerage, ship agency, freight forwarder, consolidator, and accounting services. Visit them today on New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort, or call 454-1200 or 7198837. PAX is effective, efficient, and reliable.
Real estate transactions are now made easy. Whether buying, selling, or renting residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, or touristic property, we offer the best deals in real estate transactions with professional support, including valuation, material sourcing, and construction. Contact Ed Harris and Associates, your courteous and efficient real estate agents. Call 485-1456 or email carrotbiz@gmail.com.
Do you need to copy or print your document? Are you in need of insurance? Are you looking for office stationery? Stop. Yes, LMP Services on Clark Lane, View Fort has all the services you need. They open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Or call 454-8757 or 721-8757 for affordable rates, reliable and effective customer service with a difference.
Ernesto's Auto Parts, located on the Labrie-Vifford Highway, is your place for auto parts. We have suspension parts, mounts, brakes, shocks, and so much more.
We specialize in accessories like mats, batteries, horns, lubricants, and much more.
We're open from Mondays to Saturdays from 8 to 5 and Sundays on most holidays from 8 to 1.
L'opri, Ernesto vai dé pour you.
What do you need to transport? Call the hauler. At M&E's Trucking, we offer a wide range of services island-wide. From containerized movement, flatbed service, and lowboy transfers. We're located at Beanfield View Fort. Our skillful professional drivers are ready to serve you. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram or email us at vibration711@gmail.com. Call us at 488-1000. We're ready to serve you. M&D's Trucking Service, a powerhouse ready to haul.